Marine hot water and McDonald's.
What an atmosphere!
Triple M rocks footy.
It's what rugby league's all about. Shut up! The footy's on Triple M!
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Triple M NRL for Ream and Macca's Netstrata Jubilee Stadium, Botany Bay, Sydney. Is the game we have for you today. It's the Dragons and the Melbourne Storm as Triple M rocks the footy.
Spending too much time in the shed used to be an issue. But with IMAR's new loyalty program, aptly named The Shed, I can now spend as much time in the shed as I like. You see, The Shed gives tradies insured with IMAR cashback rewards from heaps of brands, like Toolmart, Pet Barn and JBL. So now that my business is insured with IMAR, I can enjoy great cashback rewards. Visit imartheshed.com.au.
Tradies, mate. That's IMAR. Shut up! The footy's on Triple M!
Marine hot water and McDonald's. Triple M rocks footy.
And Mitsubishi Heavy Industries Air Conditioners. Put your trust in the experts in air. Well, it's such an important game for the Dragons. I made the comment they need to turn the Queen Mary around. Josh Reynolds, welcome to you, but it's such a hard task against the Melbourne Storm.
Hello, Maroon. Hello, all our listeners. It is. And, you know, people will say Melbourne have got Hughes out and a few others out, but it doesn't matter. They've got one of the best cultures in the NRL, and that's why they turn up for these type of games. I seen them out just on the field a couple of minutes ago in a circle, and it seemed like Harry Grant was just laying down the law. Boys, this is an opportunity for us to come, and I know they're short price favourites. They should win, but it's still a task. So, and for the Dragons, on the other hand, they've got a bit to prove. They started the season pretty well, but the last couple of weeks haven't been up to probably Shane Flanagan's standards. So it's a big game for them. They're at home at Cogra, and they'll just want to, have a big performance with one guy coming in, a really good mate of mine, Big Dave Clemmer, who I think is going to make a big statement today, Maroon.
Yes, okay, and of course Dave Clemmer does start, jumper number 15, but he will start. Rain is absolutely pouring down on the hill at Netstrata Jubilee Stadium. So, as I mentioned earlier, for those of you who are not in the Sydney Basin, it's pretty much in the middle of Sydney, probably 10-15 k's from the CBD, in the Botany Bay area, one of those real traditional home grounds. But I suppose the rain today, though, Grubby, has kept the crowd away.
Yeah, it's a tough one to come to the footy in all that rain. But look, St George supporters are very, very passionate fan base, and they'll show up in numbers. They might get there a little bit late, but look, before we get things started, Maroon.
Yeah.
Last night there was a lot of complaining going on.
Right.
I've got in here today.
Yeah.
First things I want to ask. Have you looked at both teams' jerseys? Can you see the numbers on the back?
I can see the numbers on the back because they've made an effort to look. The Melbourne Storm have a blue with a high-vis yellow number. Excellent.
Okay, and how about St George? Have you seen their jerseys
I'm
yet?
sure it'll be fine. But look, the point I make is if one of South's jerseys and the Titans jerseys, you can't see the numbers. A commentator needs to be able to see the numbers, whether he's a good commentator or a bad commentator. He still has to be able to see the numbers.
Okay, so sometimes you may have to go and look at yourself in the mirror because you've also come in here, and our producers here, they are hard workers.
Yeah.
You've come in and you've blown up about the lighting in here.
Well, because the other thing you need is light on so you can see the names, see the numbers. I've got to have light, and I don't think that's too much to ask.
Well, can you just have a think about this? Two things you're speaking about is your site. Maybe you have to get checked.
No, do you think...
Specsave is a major sponsor of Triple M.
Yes, but if you give me numbers I can see, you can't have black numbers on a dark green jersey. You can't have light blue numbers on a white jersey.
And no one can see it in here, but what do you want to see in here?
No, everything's fine. I can see now because they turned the lights on.
Let's go.
All right, here they come, the Melbourne Storm, copping a boo and a hiss. Pappenhausen at fullback, Warbrick and Coates on the wings. Howarth and Anderson in the centres, Munster and Wishart the halves. Utoya Kamanu and King up front with Harry Grant, and then Blore, Katoa and Liero. So Tyron Wishart up against the club his great father Rod Wishart played for. Had a good run with St George Illawarra Dragons and of course the Illawarra Steelers before that. And I mentioned that, Wishy, because I know you're listening from your house in Gerringong with a beautiful wife Gil. You wouldn't have made your way up in the four-wheel drive in the rain.
What a player.
What a great guy.
Both of them. And every time Tyron Wishart has put any number on, Any number that you can see here has had a big game.
Yeah.
And this is why he's probably in the talks to be an Origin bowler this year. You know, he's a great 14, and every time he puts on that Melbourne jersey, he has a good performance. So let's see if the Dragons can put a solid performance in against Melbourne.
And here they come now, the home side, St George Illawarra Dragons, Gutherson at fullback, and Terrell Sloan, I just put my false teeth back in, and Tuapolotu on the wings, Sully and Holmes in the centres, Flanagan, Ilias, Dave Clemmer in jumper number 15, the Turkish cowboy, Emre Gula, Damien Cook is the hooker, then Leilua Sua and Jack DeBellin. And yes, I can see the Dragons numbers too. I can see the Melbourne Storms numbers too. Peter Volandes, I know you're listening. It's great. We want to play football in Vegas and Papua New Guinea and Timbuktu and Mars, but we need to see the players' numbers. If you could speak to your respective CEOs, mate, I would appreciate it very much.
Does he listen in?
He listens to Triple M.
Does he?
Yes, he does.
There you go.
He listens
Not
on the
Fox,
app.
nothing.
No, he just listens to us.
Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes he syncs up the commentary with the Fox coverage. Anyway, Pappenhausen gets us underway. It's raining. It's taken by Flanagan. And here's Clem. Dave Clemmer gets his first run. Let's go down to the sideline for Bob Jane and welcome in our very good friend David Ricciardo.
Yeah, good afternoon, Maroon. Good afternoon, Grub. Good afternoon, PVL. Hope you're listening. Look, I've gone the double socks today, boys. I think it's double sock weather. Just keeping the feet dry because down here on the sideline, clearly it's wet. Obviously, the crowd is impacted by today's weather. Plenty of space up on that famous Jubilee Stadium hill at the moment. Look, I've got to say the ground conditions as a whole are pretty good. There's really no surface water to speak of, but clearly ball control and ball security will be absolute paramount for both sides. Dragons, I think it's imperative that they show something for their fans today. They've been defensively poor in the opening two appearances so far, and of which have both been home games. Here we are again at home. Such an important game for Saints.
Thank you, David. And Bob Jane T-Marts, David on the sideline, double sock. I like a thin sock. I like one thin pair of socks.
Even in the wet?
Yeah, thin socks. I'm a thin sock guy.
It's nice to see that David is a bit more professional than Reedy last night on the darts.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Puffing and spluttering. Here's Utoya Kamanu, 0-all, 1 minute and 20 seconds gone. Grant's at dummy half. Liero now inside the 40 and brought down on a good tackle by Jack DeBellin as the rain falls at Cogra Jubilee, Netstrata Jubilee. Munster puts a kick in from 30 metres out, and it's Gutherson's made a mess of it, but it's cleaned up by a Dragons player. But the penalty is going to go to the Melbourne Storm here, John.
Yeah, Gutho drops his ball and then he stops Sean Bloor. He pretty much tackles him off the ball, but there's a captain's challenge. They're going to lose this
of being
for
held
sure.
off the ball. They're saying that Melbourne have not gone in the contest.
Okay, let's have a look at Harvey Norman Captain's Challenge. Hisense 2024 TV run out on now. Big screens, king screens, all screens on sale. Harvey Norman Hisense 2024 TV run out. Best prices guaranteed. Here it
cleared
is.
up to this point.
Got off his knee, Maroon?
Yeah,
The
I
ball
think
initially
so.
comes off Clint Gutherson's knee, restarting the tackle count, and then off the knee of Sean Bloor.
And then isn't Bloor held off the ball by Gutherson?
Yeah, so
Just looking to
that's-
see if there's
I think that's
any
what they're gonna
hold back
call.
at this stage.
He doesn't take
Okay. Yeah, I think they'll still keep their challenge.
Clint Gutherson is holding Sean Bloor back at this stage,
Could this be a penalty try? Like
ruling
Sean Bloor
out
gets
penalty
it.
try or professional foul due to the proximity of the
They're
other
ruling out
defenders.
penalty try.
The captain's challenge is unsuccessful.
Hang on, yeah, of course it is. So challenge unsuccessful, 2 minutes gone.
Dragons, no more
and
challenges.
Bloor was held off the ball for the Melbourne Storm. So they've spent their challenge, St George Illawarra.
Would you say, Maroon, that Bloor was not going to get to the ball there first? He was ahead of
He
all the
was
other
going to get to
runners.
the ball there first,
Yeah.
yes.
Anyway.
But I don't know if I'd have gone down the penalty try.
Yeah, no, there was a few people around. You never know. It's a bit wet, a bit slippery.
Yeah. What about Gutherson's attempt to take that ball? It just went straight through his hands. Anyway, here's Wishart inside the Westpac red zone. 2 minutes gone, 0-all on the Beacon Trade scoreboard. So he'll get up and play it back now at dummy half. It's Grant, Liero now. Liero, Utoya Kamanu taken by Sewer and stopped 11 metres short of the St George Illawarra Dragons line. Then Grant again. Then Munster got it away. Munster on the run around. Pappenhausen right side, steps off the right, straightens up, and he's pulled down by Gutherson. 9 metres out, right in front of the post on tackle 3. And he'll get up and play it back to Grant once again. Then it went to King. And, hello, there's something wrong with the clock here. The clock's got frozen on our monitor. Played then to come across Grant. Utoya Kamanu, he got the pass away to Munster. Munster got it to Bloor. Bloor's only 1 metre out. Can they be first to score Melbourne? Grant again, then the kick. It ricochets back into Munster's hands. He throws one out to Anderson. Anderson's only got to get the pass. He does, but Pappenhausen drops it back. Pappenhausen has it now. It's just a mad woman's breakfast. And kicked by Grant.
Oh, no.
And picked up by Tuapolotu, who steps into touch.
Oh, that's unlucky, Maroon.
So it looked more like AFL for about 20 seconds there. But Tuapolotu picked it up, Grubby, and then went into the touch.
Yeah, it's quite unfortunate here. I think he should have just let it go into touch, but he played at the ball and unfortunately has gone into touch. But I like the scramble from the Dragons. We spoke about their defence in the first few weeks, and it hasn't been up to Shane Flanagan's standards, but they were really hunting the ball there. Last tackle, bit of kick pressure. Good early signs from the Dragons in defence.
Expert comments from Josh Reynolds for Cbus Super, making hard work pay off since 1984 Munster. And then it comes back to Howarth. He goes inside the Westpac red zone. It's been all inside the 20-metre zone of the St George Illawarra side. Liero and then Utoya Kamanu, and then DeBellin gets him and brings him down 9 metres out right in front of the posts. He will get up and play it back to Grant once again at dummy half. And to the left Wishart, to the left Munster, left again Bloor, Howarth. It goes out to Xavier Coates, and Xavier Coates puts it down, and they bomb one in the corner.
And this is one of these typical Melbourne Storm-like plays. Very shifting early, even in the wet. I love the confidence from the Storm, but once again, the Dragons' defence is nice and aggressive, up in the face of the Melbourne Storm and push them over the sideline.
Okay, Bob Jane T-Mart's down on the sideline. David Riccio.
Guys, knowing what happened in the past week in relation to Shane Flanagan's comments around Lockie Elias, I'm just so pleased because Elias came up with an outstanding try saver on Sean Bloor, which would have pleased his Dragons teammates, and so too Coach Flanagan immediately. Then the Dragons shut down a Xavier Coates try. Great play, Dragons.
Now, this is Gula. Thank you, DeBellin, of course, on the sideline for our friends at Bob Jane T-Marts. Tell you what, you need the good tyres in this weather if you're in Sydney. Flanagan gets it away to big Luciano Leilua, who is brought down by Katoa, and he'll get up and play it back to Damien Cook at dummy half once again. Flanagan has it. Right side he goes. Gets it to Williams. Calls one back in field, and it's Sewer. And Sewer's going to be brought down. Now they're only 15 out from the Melbourne Storm line. They'll get up and play it back to Cook. Cook goes right, gets it away to Williams. Williams to Sully. Sully goes through. Can't get the pass back on the inside. Oh, the red V looking good. Ilias at dummy half. Then it's Flanagan. Then it's DeBellin. Then it comes across, ends up with Gutherson. He gets one away to Tuapolotu, who gets caught and brought down by Willie Warbrick, who doesn't miss too many. And this will be fifth tackle for the St George Illawarra Dragons. Did he drop that then? Tuapolotu gets up. Yes, it's changeover in fact. And Grant now with Willie Warbrick. But that was a great set for St George Illawarra.
Really nice set, Maroon, as you said. And the one guy that I really liked his involvement was Lockie Elias. He took that down that short side. He actually beat his man one-on-one. Sully should have passed, probably would have scored in the corner. But good confidence from the young kid after his coach had a crack at him last week.
Now, we've got Dylan Egan on debut for the Dragons today. Dave Riccio might know more about him. We'll go to you very shortly, David, as it's played by Liero. Back to Grant. Grant goes over the halfway line, but a good tackle brings him down. They're here to play today, St George Illawarra. Referee Goff says it's tackle 5. And it goes back to Wishart from the halfway line. It comes down in the rain, and Gutho takes that one on the foot. Gutherson now, stopped by Bloor, 18 metres out as the rain just continues to fall at Netstrata Jubilee Oval. It comes across now for Val Holmes. He's put the ball down. It's picked up by Willie Warbrick. He's over the 20. Warbrick's away. And they bring him down 3 metres out. He's looking for a quick play of the ball. Wishart is there, throws the dummy, goes on his own. Wishart, he might get over the line. But good scramble from Clemmer to stop him. 1 metre out from the St George Illawarra Dragons line. It'll be played to Katoa. He goes on his own as well. And I think they've held him up.
Oh, well done.
I think they've held him up. Great online defence, St George Illawarra.
Who's that under there, Maroon?
I think it's Cook.
That is a great effort from Damien Cook on a much, much bigger body in Katoa. You're right, Dragons are desperate today. It's good to see. They needed this in front of their home fans at Cogra.
Now we see it go from Grant to Liero, and Liero it went to Munster. Munster to Bloor. Bloor's 2 metres out. 7 gone, no score on the Mitsubishi Triton scoreboard. Grant is there, floats one to Munster. Munster to Wishart. Oh, he got hit hard by Luciano Leilua. Old school, 3 metres out. Now, Grant puts a kick out to his winger, batted back by Xavier Coates. It ends up with Moses Sully. And we've got a knock on here, a knock on St George Illawarra, I think.
Harry, where do you want it?
Yeah, right there, Maroon. And an interesting and crafty kick out of dummy half. You rarely see that, a crossfield kick. But this is Harry Grant. He's probably one of the craftiest hookers in the NRL, but he's got some really big wingers in Warbrick and Coates, some really good targets. But I'm really liking what I've seen from the Saints. Hopefully they can hold on for one more set.
So we've got 8 gone. We've got 0 all on the Beacon Trade scoreboard. Can they hang on? That is the question. Because Xavier Coates is about to feed the scrum, and it's with Munster, and then it's with Wishart, and then back inside comes Utoya Kamanu, who's about 11 metres out on tackle 1. Left side Liero again. Then Munster goes left. Quick hands Howard. Howard is taken by Sloan. That's a great tackle. And then Clemmer comes in to help him, and they bring him down 9 metres out. Good defence, St George Illawarra, but they just got to keep it up. Grant. Munster, Liero, chopped down by Cook, 9 metres out from the St George Illawarra line on tackle 3. So they'll go to Utoya Kamanu, big and strong. He ran right into the goalpost pad, and he's right on the try line, but he's not over. And at tackle 4, he's going to play it to Grant once again. Right it goes to Wishart. Throws a dummy. Wishart goes on his own. Can't get around the Turkish cowboy, Emre Gula. And that is tackle 5. Grant again. Liero left. Munster will kick. Pressure on Sloan. Takes it beautifully. 0 tackle, 20-metre restart. No change. It's 0 all.
Shane Flanagan would be so proud of his team at the moment. As you can see, Sloan taking a 20 tap. But speaking about Sloan, we speak about intent in defence. He's not known to be a great defender, but he comes out the back and jams. I forget which centre it was, but it's all about intent. That's what the Dragons need today, and they've started extremely well.
So David Clemmer at his new club just crosses over the halfway line on tackle 2. Cook goes to Bellin. Bellin gets it away to Gula. Tackle count restarts. I think you'll find, yes, it does. So now St George Illawarra get a chance. 0 all, 10 minutes gone. Cook to Bellin, Ilias Gutherson, Sully now, gets rid of Howarth, but he's brought down right on the Westpac red zone on tackle 2, and a dummy half. Sloan gets it away to Ilias, shows it, throws a dummy, then gets the pass to Flanagan, left side numbers, Holmes, he needs to get the pass away, and brought down 15 metres out, 10 in from touch to Piloto, who is the dummy half. Then it's Flanagan, and now they'll play it about 15 metres out with Emre Gula on tackle 4 to Cook at dummy half. Then Flanagan to the 10-metre line. The pass looked a bit dodgy. And Jaden Suey, yes, the pass has floated forward. Let's go down to you for Bob Jane T-Marts. David Riccio.
It was an uncharacteristic error from Valentine Holmes, who I must say has had a bit of an auspicious start to his journey in the Red V, has Val Holmes, but it was the way the Dragons responded, which would please Shane Flanagan so much. They turned away the Melbourne Storm through 3 defensive sets, which is not an easy feat, as we know, in this competition. Really promising signs, and I'm loving the look of Lockie Eales. He's so involved in this opening 12 minutes.
_NRL, Sharks are going to pump you doggies, Grub. They're going to put 50 on them, says Greg the Great White Shark.
Wherever Greg the Great White Shark is and whatever he's doing, is not well. 50.
He's not well.
He's not well.
In this weather?
In this weather.
Yeah. Well, your boys are missing Kickow, you're missing Burton, only for a few more weeks.
if the Sharkies put 50 on us, I'll give him as many prawn cutlets as he wants.
As many as he wants.
As many as he wants.
Well, he might say, well, I want a ton. I want a ton of prawn cutlets.
I'll give him a truckload.
Ball's played back now to Grant. Grant gets away to Munster. Munster weaves his way through and gets the pass away to Pappenhausen. And I thought maybe Sewer had him by the hair. He pulls him down 30 metres out on tackle 5. Munster goes short side, puts in a kick, sits up for Gutherson. 10 metres out, he has it. 12 gone on the Beacon Trade scoreboard. It's still 0-0 St George, Illawarra and Melbourne. Played then to come across for Sloane. And Sloane is met by King, and so too Katoa. He will get up and play it back then to Cook once again. And here's Tuapolotu. Brought down by Utoya Kamanu with Cook at dummy half again. No score at Cogra. One of the great Sydney venues, if you like the suburban grounds. This is one of the better ones. Val Holmes, David Clemmer. Liero has him, so too Grant to bring him down. Fifth tackle as it's played to Cook. It goes across now to Lachlan Ilias, and Lachlan Ilias will put this one high and deep, and Coates takes it on the full. 5 out from his own line. Over the 10 he comes now, but it's a real tit-for-tat game at the moment, Grubby.
It sure is, and this is what we call the grind. It's just going set for set for set, and both teams waiting for the other team to crack. Usually the Melbourne Storm, they are specialists in this space, but it seems the Dragons have come with a really, really grinding mentality. So let's see how long this can last.
So tackle 3, dummy half there. Is Wishart, Pappenhausen, Munster left side. Howarth has it now toward the halfway. Numbers out there, brought down by Sully though, just in 10 metres inside St George Illawarra's end. Coates goes to dummy half, gets it away to Cam Munster, comes across to the centre of the field. Pappenhausen now. Now Wishart juggles it, did well to take it, and brought down by DeBell, and it's tackle 5 for the Melbourne Storm. Grant goes left on this occasion. Up goes the kick from Munster on the last. Batted back toward Melbourne Storm. It's still alive. It's still tackle 5. Anderson kicks again. Oh, chasing through is Grant. I think he's kicked it too far. Or he gets it back in the field of play. Munster is claiming a try. Let's have a look at the Harvey Norman replay.
This is going to be close, boys. This is a massive effort play here. And it's just the Dragons, 5th tackle. You just got to be desperate. As you can see here,
up to this point,
Harry Grant chasing through, as he always does, like a pit bull.
Now, let's check the dead ball line here. Gutherson's back there.
It's going to be play on.
Ball strikes Clint Gutherson's leg while his foot is on the dead ball line. We have decision.
Very, very lucky.
Yes, indeed. Down to you for Bob Jane T-Mart's David Riccio.
What was a typical Clint Gutherson effort, wasn't it, guys? Josh Reynolds mentioned it. He was the only one in the frame as far as the chase on the 5th tackle kick was concerned. Clint Gutherson earning his money and everything that the St George Illawarra wanted from the back there. This will be a Dragons dropout. I'll probably go short and see if they can get it back.
Bob Jane T-Marts, buy 3, get 1 free, plus instant cash on Bridgestone, Yokohama, Kumo and Pirelli. BobJane.com.au, T's and C's apply. There's a shortish dropout. Liero. Now it's Katoa who takes it. Back inside the 10 goes Katoa. 9 metres out. Eli Katoa will get up and play it back. And a dummy half, it's Grant. It's now with Liero. And Utoya Kamanu is 10 metres out by view. They've had to do some tackling here, St George Illawarra. 68% of the ball in the last 10 minutes, Melbourne. Then Wishart, they pass it forward to King. Tackle count restarts. They're 5 metres out at dummy half. It's Grant. It's left side. It's Munster putting on a little step. And Gutherson went for the steal. Didn't get it. 5 metres out. Munster again. Liero drops it. Simple knock on. Simple knock on. And Coach Bellamy will be absolutely blowing up the Lux. You're watching that show on Stan about Craig Bellamy.
I haven't watched it. Any good?
Oh, it's bloody fantastic. I don't know if it's how old it is, but I only just watched it.
Nah, it's pretty new.
Yeah.
I think it's only just come out.
It's just such a great show.
You see another side to him?
You do.
Good. I like those documentaries. Yeah. We only see him really in the box and his press conferences and whatnot, but he seems to have a really good relationship with his players.
Yeah, and his kids and his grandkids.
It's awesome.
This is Flanagan about to feed the scrum. And it will come out now for, looks like Big Moses Sully. Yes, it is. Pulled down by Howarth. Gets up and plays it back to Cook, and then it comes back to Sloan, and Sloan gets outside the Westpac red zone. And then Liero says, get back in the Westpac red zone, you bludger. And he'll play it 19 metres out. Cook's got it away to DeBellin. DeBellin then Gutherson. Gutherson to big Luciano Leilua, who floats one back to Gutherson. They've turned up. You keep using the word intent, Grubby. They are here to play today, St George Illawarra.
They sure are, Maroon, and it's all just about coming up, showing up. Yes, you're up against Melbourne Storm, one of the heavyweight favourites, but all you need to do is have a crack sometimes and you're in the game.
Jaden Sewer is 1 metre his own side of the halfway line on tackle 4. Cook goes to dummy half, then it comes out to Clem, and Big David Clemmer at his new club.
He's had a good start, hasn't he?
He has, hasn't he? And tackle 5, here's Cook, right side to Lachlan Ilias, and the kick goes up, and Pappenhausen goes up and takes it. And he's pulled down. Down to you on the sideline for Bob Jane, David Riccio.
Yeah, don't know about that kick choice, guys, and I say that knowing that how the injury cloud that Ryan Pappenhausen came into this game with. It's an ankle injury. He only did one training session coming into this match, and just that chipped bomb then from Lockie Elias, I don't think that's the choice. I think it's to run Pappenhausen around, maybe find some corners, the grass, make Pappenhausen work. That has to be the aim for the Dragons.
And there's the ball going from Grant to Wishart, who tripped over his own 2 feet and got up and went again. Just inside St George Illawarra's territory. They are spending a lot of time in the right end of the field, Melbourne. Grant, Pappenhausen to kick, chased through by Anderson. He needs the bounce, but Tuipulotu gets it, Grubby.
Tuipulotu, a nice play here, and I want him to score a try today. I want to see how scared he is of Shane Flanagan. If he shows us the money, I feel his contract will be ripped up on the spot.
Now we see Flanagan, and we see it go across to Sloan, and Sloan gets away from a tackle, and Blaw's got hold of him. He thought about passing it, and then he didn't. And then played DeBellin. DeBellin goes toward the tackler, Grant, who brings him down. 19 his own side of the halfway line, still 0-all on the Beacon Trade scoreboard. Jaden Sewer goes reverse into Liero and then gets a pass to Gutherson, who gets it away to Luciano Leilua, who sends one back inside for Val Holmes. And Val, they just ankle tap him and bring him down 35 metres out. Quick play the ball. Gutherson to the line. Flanagan inside the 20, puts a kick in. But maybe it wasn't the play, and it finds touch 1 metre out from the Melbourne Storm try line.
Look, I know you say it might not be the play, but this is good. This is good for the Saints. We just put him in the corner. Keep putting him in the corner. Tell Melbourne Storm to come out of their own half. As we see Val Holmes on the Harvey Norman replay just gets pretty much an ankle tap from Wishart, but I'm liking what I'm seeing for the Dragons. Change of direction in the wet is one of the most perfect plays on a rainy day.
Now, Aaron Woods is listening from Triple M Breakfast Show because he loves to hear his name. And Woodsy, you told me you're good friends with Dave Clemmer, and I said to Dave Clemmer, we've got a mutual friend, and he said, mate, I hardly know Aaron Woods, quote unquote. Here's Pappenhausen over the halfway line.
Quote unquote.
It was quite embarrassing for me. I said, we know a mutual friend. Here's Grant, and Grant goes towards Liero. Liero, obviously, I'm joking. Liero's 10 metres inside St George Illawarra's territory on tackle 5. It's played to Grant. Right side it goes, and then the kick from Wishart from 40 metres out. Up she goes! Up goes Tuipulotu and takes it beautifully, and he's brought down straight away.
The one thing the Melbourne Storm are doing a little bit better than the Dragons at the moment is their kick chase. Last kick, Flanagan chased down. There's only one kicker. Every single time Melbourne put a bomb up in the wet like this, they got 3 or 4 around the ball. The Dragons need to do the same thing to try and force Pappenhausen into an error.
Triple M underscore NRL Keegan Brown is listening. He says, hi guys, I'm off my scone. Go and have a bowl of Cocoa Pops, mate, or Fruit Loops, whatever you want. Flanagan's got the ball. It goes now to Clem. And he went straight into Blore, who brought him down 9 metres his own side of the halfway line last play. Cook goes right side Ilias just over the 40. That's a big kick from Ilias. But it's going to bounce and just bounce and it ends up dead. And St George Illawarra running toward the city end, if you like, of the Netstrata Jubilee Oval. And this is Xavier Coates. Still 0-all, 20 minutes gone. Then out of dummy half, it's young Wishart, son of Rod. Ball is knocked out of his hands. He's knocked that on, Tyrone. Well, it was knocked by Luciano Leilua. Harvey Norman replay. Have a look at this, Grubby.
We're speaking about if they're going to challenge it, but I think it's a bit too late now. But
they got no challenges.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. Ooh, Harry Grant took it on the chin, but we'll see you on the Harvey Norman replay.
Oh, yeah, they have a challenge. I beg your pardon.
Oh, no, I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
Luciano had his arms around his torso, and he sort of just got up. He needs better ball control over that. But this is what I've been saying. Dragons been waiting for this opportunity. A little bit of field position. Let's see what they can do.
Just to be clear, St George Illawarra have spent their challenge, not Melbourne. It's still 0-0 though. 21 minutes gone. Ilias. And then this is going to be played by the Turkish cowboy. De Bellin now Flanagan, Gutherson. They try to bring Val inside again, and they do. And he's brought down by Katoa. Inside the Westpac red zone. Damien Cook slips and slides and falls on his backside 10 metres away from the Melbourne Storm line. Make it 5. And he's getting up very slowly, and the crowd are giving him a boo and a hiss. Val Holmes is a dummy half. Long pass back to the centre. Flanagan got it away to De Bellin. 10 metres out. Well, can they be first to score, St George Illawarra? Cook, Clemmer, and Big Dave Clemmer is about 2 metres out, right underneath the posts on tackle 5. Cook again, last play. Ilias got it away to Gutherson. He tried to find his winger. This will be 6 again. Knocked on, surely
What's
Xavier
going on
Coates.
there?
Knocked on Xavier Coates. And Xavier Coates has got away with it. And then he gets his pants and his undies completely pulled down until his crack is visible, but he got away with a genuine knock-on.
Before I say anything about that call, he has a really nice buttocks. But I just watched that on the replay again. That is a clear knock-on.
Yeah.
And now they get a piggyback penalty. Ah, man, this is... I'm not going to go again. I'm not Aaron Woods. I'm not going to go after the Rivers. But calls like this, for a team like the Dragons, they need things to go their way today. They need calls like that. And look, you could see that 10 times, and I'm still calling knock-on. What about you, Maroon?
Oh, it was a knock-on all day. And then we saw his bare backside. Did you want to say anything about his backside?
I just thought they must do some really good glute work down in Melbourne, because it was nice and rounded and firm. So I don't know why I said firm, because I've never actually touched it. But it looks
firm. It looks firm. Okay, here's Bloor. Looks like you're going to eat your dinner off it. Bloor will get up and play it back to Grant. The tackle is high from Jaden Sewer. 23 minutes gone. Down to the sideline for Bob Jane, our man David Riccio.
Oh, boys, we were already at Magic Round because the Melbourne Storm have dead set hoodwinked the NRL referee out there on the field. That was a dead set knock-on for your life. They've got away with one there, the Melbourne Storm. Look, the first change for the Storm, Big Stefano Utakamanu, who's come from the field. Alec McDonald's out there now, Maroon.
Thank you very much for Bob Jane, David Riccio. 20 metres out, Melbourne Storm set to play it back to Grant. Munster, and here is McDonald inside the Westpac red zone, bringing the footy. On tackle too, he got up and, well, this one is a penalty. A penalty to Melbourne.
Oh.
Harvey Norman replay. Jack de Bellin just wouldn't let him up to play.
They're going to go off at Cogra. I can hear him. It won't surprise me if the Storm go for the 2 here.
Yeah.
Just a little scoreboard pressure. It's going to be a very low-scoring game, as we can see. But yeah, I don't know about that one either. You reckon he had another grab at him, Maroon?
Yeah, I think that's a fair penalty.
Yeah.
But I think, so you're saying here you'd go for the 2, and they're going to do that?
Yeah, I definitely would, because it's nil all, after 20, 25 or so minutes, and no one's really got any fluency in their attack. There's been a few little drop balls around the ruck, but the one thing that I'm really happy with the Saints, two things that I'm really happy about the Saints. Their scramble and their defensive intent has been awesome, but they're really going hard after the drop plays. Valentine Holmes has come through, seen a little bit of joy, so they've got to stick to that, but they're going well.
Okay, tradies, big jobs, small jobs. Beacon Trade's got the lighting, fans and electrical to get it done. Join beacontrade.com.au. Let's make light work at Beacon Trade. They're back in the footy, they're back in Triple M, and they're back in the tradies too. And that's why we love Beacon Trade. Now, the Pertec kick predictor hasn't had a run today. 90%. Tyron Wishart, son of the great Rod Wishart. And he is virtually right in front. I know we say it all the time, but doesn't Gerringong punch above its weight for NRL players? 25 gone. St George Illawarra 2, Melbourne 0 as Triple M rocks the footy.
It's Australia's favourite water heater. You know who we're talking about. Built tough for Aussie conditions and manufacturing right here in Australia for over 80 years. When it comes to water heating, ask your plumber to install a Rheem.
Josh Reynolds' man, not Woodsy's man, Dave Clemmer, has come from the field. And what a first stint it was for the big man, the new recruit for the Dragons, came over from the West Tigers. Most runs as far as any forward on the field is concerned. 6 runs for 49 metres. Toby Couchman comes onto the field for Dave Clemmer.
Thank you very much. Toby's out there. And Melbourne first to score. They lead the game by 2 points to 0. And there's the kickoff for Gutherson. And taken on the full by Harry Grant. Got the pass away to King. Brought down by Sully with 14 minutes left in the first half. Played to Munster, given to Blore. Gets outside the 20, DeBellin brings him down. Well, we've gone 26 minutes without a try, Grubby. And a suggestion of a crusher tackle on Sean Blore. He gets the Academy Award, the gold Logie, and everything else.
Just Dragons, last couple of sets been real ill-disciplined, and so you can do all this great work at the start, but you know you have a couple of bad sets, and you give them Melbourne pretty much a free pass to come down into your own half. And look, they're going to make you pay eventually. It's been great defence so far, but they've got to clean up their act a little bit, clean up their defence, because Melbourne eventually, if they get in good field position, are going to be really, really ready to score a try.
That ice cream man on the hill, I wonder if he's selling many Mr. Whippies today, Grubby.
Is it actual Mr. Whippy?
It's the real deal. Here's Wishart, pulled down, just his own side of the halfway line, and then Grant goes to dummy half, Liero, and then King. Straight up the middle, he's going to be brought down by Luciano Leilua, who's trying to rip his leg right off him. And then from dummy half, we'll see it go from Grant to Wishart. Oh, and Couchman gets him. And the two kids from the South Coast come together. 18 metres inside St George Illawarra's half. Grant again. Then Liero. Pulled down by the Turkish cowboy, Emre Gula. Right in the centre of the park. Here is King again. Inside the Westpac red zone. Getting through a lot of tackling is Jack DeBellin today. This is the second play. Grant's at dummy half. Left side is Liero. Left again we get Munster. Then dropping back inside is Howarth. Howarth going across field. Straightens up, and there's DeBellin again. And so, great defence from the red V. Wishart. He's only 2 metres out. Fourth play. A dummy half Munster, Pappenhausen, numbers out here, and Willie Warbrick's knocked it on, and Val Holmes and him having a push and shove, and big Luciano Leilua comes in and starts talking trash, and now it's push and shove, and now it's handbags and 10 paces as they all get back on side.
I love a bit of handbag throwing, but once again, St George, Valentine Holmes, he's come up with a really, really good defensive read here, and there's something about the Saints today. They pretty much said to Melbourne, we do not care how good you are. We are going to compete and compete well, and they've done that. Valentine Holmes once again, great scramble, and he lets Warbrick know, not today, mate. And then his mate comes over, Luciano, and grabs his collar.
He's a scary cat, isn't he, Big Luch?
Big Luch. He's a great man, though.
Did you play with him at Tigers?
I did play with Luch at Tigers, but another thing, Maroon, that I'm really impressed with, speaking about Wishart, he's had 10 runs already as a half. As a half, you look to maybe have 10 a game. He's had 10 in the first half, so he's really taking his opportunity in the 7 jersey.
Expert comments from Cbus Super, and that is Josh Reynolds. Bulldogs and New South Wales Origin legend. Cook is there now. Here is another fresh face, Amos Stewart. Gutherson to Sully. Sully is out of one. Sully is taken by Munster and brought down Tenny's own side of the halfway line. 10.5 left in this half football. Gutherson and now Couchman. Now, I've got to tell you a true story. I told you that the Couchman's father, Benny, who's a mate of mine, used to run the Seinfeld fan club in Wollongong back in the 90s. There's the kick from Lachlan Ilias, comes down, taken on the full by Pappenhausen. Well, Benny Couchman is reuniting the Seinfeld fans, and we're having a Seinfeld party. And Christine, Miss Portugal, and I are going as Jack and Doris Clompus, which was going to be, you Seinfeld fans know who that is. That's going to be massive. Tackle 2. Xavier Coates is 10 metres his own side of the halfway line. Make it 5 before he gets up and plays it on the third tackle. Grant goes into dummy half. Right side, where he is. Kamakamita. He's a scary looking cat too. Brought down by Leilua. And then played to Grant. Given now to Wishart. Passes it left side to Pappenhausen. Straight back up the middle comes Blore. Blore, he almost got through. And brought down about 30 metres. We'll have a look at some of those stats when we get a chance, because I feel like the Dragons have protected their line on many occasions. There's the kick on tackle 5, and Gutherson does well to bring that one down. So the Dragons 9 of 12 sets, but only 40% of the ball on the Choice Hotel stats. Penalties are 5-0 to the Storm, Grubby.
Yeah, they're hanging in there, the Dragons. They need a penalty. The crowd, they're booing. There's been about 13 types of boos, but they need a little... Oh, did he just call one then? No, play on Damien Cook, tried to catch him off guard at hooker. But they're hanging in there, Maroon, aren't they?
They are indeed, and it's good to see. Here's Stewart, takes it forward, and finally Peter Goffs gives the Dragons a penalty, and the Dragon supporters say thank you very much in about time.
Speaking about confidence and coming into a game, the Dragons have been defending their backsides off, and when you get a relief penalty like that, there's no better feeling. There's no better feeling, and this can bring the Dragons on top. Melbourne, on the other hand, would be a bit frustrated. They've had the more of the ball. They've had the better field position. So if the Dragons can hang in there and go into halftime possibly ahead, gee, that'll be good confidence for them heading into the second half.
2-0 Melbourne, 8.5 left in the first half on the Beacon Trade scoreboard. The Cooks gets it away to Luciano Leilua. Still no tries in 32 minutes of football. And getting up to play it back, the ball at dummy half is Cook, and then it comes across now. This is the kid on debut, Dylan Egan for St George Illawarra. That's the second play. Damien Cook's at dummy half. To the right side, Ilias, and right again it goes Flanagan. Back in field comes Sewer, brought down 21 metres out. Can they be first to score, St George Illawarra? The place will erupt. Let him up to play the ball, for God's sake. Alex McDonald.
Pick the ball up.
How did he cause that?
So he's saying that Jaden Sewer...
How?
Well, you're the footballer, baby. Here's Couchman, 15 metres out, tackle 4. Gets up and plays it to Cook. Right side, Sully, inside the 10. Sully still going. Great tackle, Munster brings him down. They'll go short again. Cook reaches out. Does he get the ball down, Damien Cook? I don't think so.
Coming into one.
Okay.
Time's off, held up.
He's held up, okay.
We have a 6 more.
Is there 6 more? There is.
No.
There's 6 more.
Mark it not square.
Okay,
Well
tackle
done,
count
Cook.
restarts. Damien
one.
Cook has the ball. He'll go back to the 10.
Back on 10 metres out, Damien.
And so now the Dragons lined up to the left.
Oh, go. 1.
Sewer, Ilias, and then Couchman. 10 out. That's tackle 2. Now, a dummy half, we'll see it go to Ilias to the centre of the field, then left to Flanagan, left to Gutherson, left to Holmes, and Val Holmes is going to score a lovely St George Illawarra try. Big Val, and the Dragons strike first, baby.
I'm just looking out for Tui Pilotu. He has not done it yet, boys. He has not done it. But this is exactly what I was talking about. The Dragons, they turned him away. The Melbourne Storm, one of the best attacking outfits in the game. Nice work from Locke Ilias, digged right into the line. And they changed the play up here. Usually you have a lead line for the Clint Gutherson. But Ilias, nice and square. Flano's given him early ball, which creates the overlap. And Val Holmes, who's had a really nice start to this game, goes near the post. The Dragons are on top, Maroon.
Yes, indeed. And the Beacon Trade scoreboard try to Val Holmes with 6 minutes left in the first half. Beacon Trade's got you covered, all you tradies. So go and see them. Big jobs, small jobs, tough jobs. Beacon Trade's got the lighting, fans and electrical to get it done. beacontrade.com.au. St George Illawarra 4, Melbourne 2. 6 minutes left in the first half. And the Pertec kick predictor, 72% Val Holmes to convert his own try.
Yeah, you'd be proud if you're a Dragon supporter today. They've really dug deep, and for them to be up possibly 6-2 after all the defence they've had to do, really good change of mindset from the last couple of weeks.
And now Val Holmes, just to the left-hand side of the upright. Of course, we forget he had that small stint in the NFL. I don't know what that was all about. So he's gone Cronulla, NRL, Cowboys, St George Illawarra. Here's Val. He moves in and puts it right over the black dot. Beacon Trade scoreboard. Dragons lead Melbourne 6-2 as Triple M rocks the footy.
For industrial products designed and tested to handle any kind of drama, Australians turn to Pertec, drama resistant since 1980.
We'll put this down to two factors as far as the scoreboard is concerned. One, it's clearly the Dragons' defence, and we spoke about it from the top of the match. In the past couple of weeks, the Dragons' defensive efforts, certainly against South Sydney around the goalpost, and some of those soft tries they let in was disgraceful. And certainly not what Shane Flanagan's sides are built on. But today we are starting to see what St George Illawarra are seriously about. Now, the other factor is through the crowd. Now, the more that this crowd gets involved, the Melbourne Storm will start to feel the heat and the pressure. And that's something that what happened in that previous set. The Dragons were able to receive a penalty after a lot of crowd involvement. As the Dragons, would you believe, have come up with an error from the kickoff.
Yeah, thank you, David. Yeah, Grubby, this is the difference between the great sides and the other sides. They're set after points. They're actions after points. Would you agree?
I couldn't agree more, Maroon. And you just got to stop with your foot there. On a rainy day, why are you trying to pick the ball up on a semi-half bounce? And Tui Pilota would want that moment over again. But look, the Dragons' defence has been exceptional today. Maybe they can turn the Melbourne Storm away once again.
5 minutes left in the first half. St George Illawarra 6, Melbourne 2. Munster now gets the ball off Wishart. They're inside the Westpac red zone, bringing the footy. Harry Grant gets into dummy half. Can they hold him out again? Here's Grant. It goes to Kamakamita, and he gets caught up in the old Malachi crunch. About 9 metres out and right in front of the posts on tackle 2. Munster to the left. Munster to the left now. Gets it away to Bloor. Bloor for the line. And Jaden Sewer brings him down 2 metres out. But look how deep they are to the right side. Pappenhausen and Munster. Then Munster. Kamakamita turns to pass. Brought down by Couchman. And the young kid on debut over the top. That's Egan. 5 metres out on tackle 4. Long pass left. Here it is. Munster. He needs to offload, but he can't. Great defence against St George Illawarra. One more. Grant out of dummy half. Goes on his own. No way through. Changeover. St George Illawarra ball.
There is absolutely no way through this red V brick wall today. And they've been on the back foot. Munster taking the line on. Sean Bloor creating many problems in the defensive line, but they're covering each other's backsides, Maroon. This is what it's all about. The best defensive teams have each other's back, and the Dragons are really showing that today.
At @MM_NRL, Matt Lally is listening in Singleton via Triple M Newcastle. He says Josh King is a Singleton Greyhound. Yeah, I actually did know that, Matt. And then he says, can I have Easter show tickets?
Why does everyone want to go to the Easter show?
This useless pustule. This idiot Steve Sarkis has got everyone asking me for Easter show tickets. I don't have Easter show tickets. What do you want me to go and get a loan and buy $5,000? Well, I don't have Easter show tickets, Grubby.
Yeah, you wouldn't need a loan.
Here's Gutherson.
You got some.
What do you think? I just got it in the console of the car.
You do, in the Mustang.
Ball's played back now. It's not a Mustang. Here's Cook once again. Back to Williams from inside the 40. And the kick's going to come down to Xavier Coates, who takes it beautifully in the rain. Let's go down to you, David Riccio. Is the rain getting worse, better? How do you see it?
No, it's eased off actually, Maroon, so pretty good conditions at the moment. Look, with 3 minutes remaining here, huge defensive effort once again required by the Red V. Jaden Sewer, guys, got some attention in the backfield with a hand injury. He's made his way back into the Dragons' defensive line, but keep an eye on Jaden Sewer.
Yeah, Pappenhausen now will play it to Grant, and then it goes to Munster. Could they go to half-time, trialist the Melbourne Storm? Dare we think it? 2 minutes and 20 seconds left in the first half. St George Illawarra leads 6-2. Kamakamita is pulled down 30 metres out from the Dragons line. Tackle count restarts. That won't help as he gets up and plays it back to Harry. Munster now. Right it goes to Wishart. Gets it away to Katara. And then it goes to Ryan Pappenhausen, who slides over and scores a lovely try, and all of a sudden we are 6-all as Triple M rocks the ball.
And this is a beautiful, sweeping Melbourne Storm play, and it took a while. It took to just before half-time. Shane Flanagan is going to be absolutely spewing. But the try, it was nice. Munster square, Wishart, nice into the line. Katoa, and who else but Pappenhausen backing up on the outside. That is a smart fullback, knowing your team, knowing what your teammates do. And the Dragons' red V wall finally cracks.
So the Beacon Trade scoreboard is 6-all, 1 minute and 20 seconds left in the first half. And you call us today, Anthony Maroon, Josh Reynolds, and on the sideline for Bob Jane, our great friend David Riccio. This game being played at a wet, misty Netstrata Jubilee Stadium in Sydney. And anyway, St George Illawarra, a real good account of themselves so far today. Some silly errors like a Tuapolotu dropping it off the kickoff, but look, it's just how it's going to be. It's going to be Melbourne 8-6 at halftime. Pertek kick predicted 80%. Reliable performance, drama resistant since 1980. Tyron Wishart has kicked 1 from 1 today. And here he is now. Yeah, so we make the point about players that come from Gerringong. Tyron, of course, Hamish Stewart, and all the boys from all the Sims boys, Rowan, they're all from round that way. Nick Cronin, Rod Wishart, there it goes, right over the black dot. And so Melbourne leads St George 8-6 as Triple M rocks the footy.
Tradies, while you're backing your footy team, Beacon Trade's backing you. Fans, downlights and the largest range of lighting. Get what you need at beacontrade.com.au.
With Melbourne leading 8 points to 6 and 30 seconds remaining in this first half. I don't know about it, Grub. I think Shane Flanagan would... he certainly wouldn't be over the moon, but I don't think he'd be absolutely distraught given the amount of possession and field position that the Melbourne Storm have enjoyed in that first half. Dragons have given themselves no chance. They've only had 36% of the field territory, 36%. 8 points to 6. I think Flanagan would take that.
Penalties Melbourne 5-1 on the Choice Hotel stats.
Move now!
And we've got 15 seconds left in the first half.
Another Gerringong player, the fellow on debut, Dylan Egan.
There you go. Yeah, unbelievable. Great place, Gerringong. Call in and go to the blowhole first, Kiama, and then
Nursery.
Then call into Mick Cronin's pub. Half-time in the background. Melbourne leads St George Illawarra 8 points to 6 on the Beacon Trade scoreboard. When we do the footy on Triple M, we do it for McDonald's because they've got the hot honey. Hot honey has dropped at Macca's for a limited time only. Embrace the drip. The new hot honey range has dropped at Macca's. You got your honey McCrispy, the hot honey McSpicy, the hot honey dipping sauce for your chicken McNuggets. Ready for game-changing flavour. And, of course, hot water need replacing. Go for the one that's steady, hot and strong. Install a Ream. Melbourne 8, St George Illawarra 6. Your callers Josh Reynolds, David Riccio and Anthony Maroon as Triple M rocks the footy.
Shut up! The footy's on Triple M!
Triple M rocks footy.
Thanks to the reliable Mitsubishi Triton. Nothing can frighten a Triton.
Sydney, we're coming for you. The Beer, Footy and Food Festival is back. Taking over two of the greatest rugby league stadiums on the planet, North Sydney Oval and Royal Henson Park. Double the food, double the beer and double the footy. The Beer, Footy and Food Festival, Sunday, June 8th at North Sydney Oval with the Bears versus the Panthers. And Saturday, July 26th at Henson Park for a smash-up between the Newtown Jets and the St George Dragons. Get your tickets at beerfootyfood.com.
With NRMA Insurance, you could enjoy our multi-policy discount when you take out 2 or more eligible policies. NRMA Insurance, a help company. Discount applies in tiers based on the number of eligible policies. Maximum tier reached at 9 eligible policies. Visit nrma.com.au/customer-discounts for more info. Discount may be subject to minimum premiums. Always read the PDS. PDS and TMDs available from NRMA Insurance at nrma.com.au.
Surprise Prize is back at Macca's with millions of instant win prizes, plus weekly draws to win 10 grand cash. Play for a 1 in 3 chance to win. ends April 1, 2025. For full terms and permit numbers, visit our website.
Go Harvey Norman. Hisense 2024 TV run out on now. Race in for clearance prices across the range. Big screens, king screens, all screens on sale. Save $400 on Hisense 75-inch mini LED TV. Save over $1,400 plus get bonus local delivery and installation on Hisense 100-inch TV. Conditions apply. Shop in store. Shop online. If it's a Hisense 2024 model, it's got to go. Be quick. Limited time while stocks last. Hisense 2024 TV run out on now at Harvey Norman.
Win $1,000 so you can take a paid day off thanks to Solo by MYOB and Triple M. To go in the draw, tell us your work woes.
Philip from Sydney. I've realised by always saying yes to clients, I'm working every single day on top of manual invoicing, expenses, etc. A break would be appreciated.
To enter, head to the win page now at triplem.com.au. All thanks to Solo by MYOB. Do less, work. Competition T's and C's apply.
Back your business with Energy Australia's dedicated team of energy experts and get a great deal on your business electricity. Find out how at energyaustralia.com.au.
Hey, almond latte, extra shot, extra hot, thanks.
Sure thing. That's $8.90.
$8.90? Oh, that feels like a lot. Pay with points, however. That feels like free.
With a Westpac Altitude credit card, you can pay with points for anything, anywhere that MasterCard is accepted. Apply for a Westpac Altitude credit card today. Minimum points balance required. T's and C's, eligibility and credit criteria apply.
Oh, that is hot.
Shut up! The footy's on Triple M!
Triple M rocks footy.
Thanks to the reliable Mitsubishi Triton. Nothing can frighten a Triton.
Thank you very much. And we are back at Netstrata Jubilee Oval. Half time, we've got some of the junior clubs entertaining us. One of those teams is Brighton Seagulls. My boy James, who works here at Triple M a bit now, he played for the mighty Brighton Seagulls when we were living over that way. And now the other mob, I don't know who that other mob is. Is that Kingsgrove?
Looks like Kingsgrove Colts.
Yeah, I think that is Kingsgrove, yeah. Big Sam Ayash used to run the joint there when I was over that way. Anyway, great to see local rugby league going strong in the St George district. How'd you see the first half?
Yeah, it was a tight one, Maroon, wasn't it? The one thing that stood out for me was the Dragons' defence, their scramble. They really, it's like they're not. There's no bullcrap today. They've said to Melbourne, we don't care. We know you're great, but we're coming after you. Just a few moments where Valentine Holmes has been in the face of Warbrick, and I like that. They need that. But you mentioned it, Maroon. Set after points, cost them. Tuipulotu probably should have stopped that with his foot. No, actually, he definitely should have stopped with the foot. You know, that gives Melbourne the opportunity. But I know Riccio said that Flano would be happy. Yes, he'd be happy with their effort. But just for them to clock off 2 minutes before half-time and let in that try is not great. DeBellin, he's been brilliant in defence. The one thing I'll say about the Saints, and hopefully Flanagan injects him in the game, Jacob Little, I think he can open up this game in the wet. A couple of nice little dummy half scurries. But for the Melbourne Storm, they've been probably a little bit frustrated. They've had more of the ball, and heading into half-time, they did come up with a brilliant play and scored a try going in into the lead. But look, it's been a great game. If it sticks like this, I'm really liking the Dragons' chances. So hopefully they can hold on and keep defending how they have been, Maroon.
Okay, thank you, Grubby. We'll go take a little break, and when we come back, second half will be underway. And if you've just joined us, Melbourne leads St George Illawarra 8.6. Gutsy performance from the Dragons. Can they come back? Can they hang on? Well, we'll see. We'll see in the next 40 minutes as Triple M rocks the footy.
Shut up! The footy's on Triple M!
Triple M rocks footy.
Thanks to the reliable Mitsubishi Triton. Nothing can frighten a Triton.
Well, gee, they're working hard out there. And to all you CBUS members kicking back, enjoying the game, just know that your super fund is working hard for you too. Securing strong long-term returns for your retirement that you've earned. CBUS Super, making hard work pay off. Read the PDS and TMD to decide if CBUS is right for you. Past performance is not a reliable indicator of future performance.
Sport. Uncover well-kept secrets with listeners' lineup of investigative podcasts. Download the free Listener app and search Uncover.
Hey there, it's Stephen Zoyce with you. Justin Olam has officially announced his retirement from league footy. The veteran centre is set to hang up the boots despite going under the knife to fix a knee injury. The West Tiger had not played since succumbing to the injury, medical staff recommending the 31-year-old against playing again. Meanwhile, plenty of questions are being thrown at the Dolphins after they lost to Brisbane last night at a wet Suncorp stadium. Here's Finns coach Christian Wolf.
Yeah, we pulled a little bit of pressure. We dropped the ball, play 3, I think it was. Yeah, and then sort of got into making errors coming out of our own end. That's a bit of a problem for us at the moment. It's been a problem for the first 4 weeks, so it's obviously something we've got to clean up.
The side will now face the in-form Gold Coast Titans next weekend.
Sydney's Triple M breakfast.
Australians spend an average of 42 minutes a day doing this.
Sitting outside in your car, waiting to go into the chaos.
Yesterday, I was in my car for about 20 minutes on the phone, and I don't want to take that phone call in my house because I don't want my children to know about my other family.
Thanks to MJ the Musical. MJ the Musical is now thrilling audiences at Sydney's Lyric Theatre. Book today.
It's Triple M breakfast.
Weekdays from 6 on 104.9 Triple M.
At Officeworks, get the new Samsung Galaxy A36 for $547 and redeem a $100 Officeworks gift card. T's and C's apply. Offer ends 16th of April 2025. Make bigger things happen at Officeworks.
With NRMA Insurance, you could enjoy our multi-policy discount when you take out 2 or more eligible policies. NRMA Insurance, a help company. Discount applies in tiers based on the number of eligible policies. Maximum tier reached at 9 eligible policies. Visit nrma.com.au/customer-discounts for more info. Discount may be subject to minimum premiums. Always read the PDS. PDS and TMDs available from NRMA Insurance at nrma.com.au.
I'm not a robot. I'm not AI. I'm an ex-smoker. Cigarettes took my voice box, but it could have been worse. Visit icanquit.com.au or call the Quit line today. A New South Wales Government initiative.
School drop-offs, emails, meetings, errands. You spin plates all day, and when you finally get home, you're expected to be a celebrity chef too? With zero energy and nothing in the fridge but 3 types of mustard? Try Every Plate's deliciously simple meal kits instead. With 4 easy steps and pre-portioned ingredients, they're for master mums and dads, not master chefs. Every Plate. Get stuck in.
The irons that created the players' distance category just got better. The new tailor-made P790. More speed, more consistency, with a 24% larger sweet spot. Available now.
Hi, Rodney Jane here. Pocket even more savings at Bob Jane T-Marts. We've got Bridgestone free, Yokohama free, Kumho free. How? Simply buy 3 and the 4th tyres free. Get up to $150 instant cashback on selected Pirelli and Bridgestone tyres. Plus, receive an e-gift card up to $150 when you buy 4 selected BF Goodrich tyres. Give us a call or shop online today. At Bob Jane T-Marts, we'll look after you. T's and C's apply.
Recognise the everyday cleaning hero in your life and give them the chance to win $5,000 thanks to Oates Cleaning Products. Go to cleanitwithoats.com.au, give them a shout out, and they're in the draw to win the $5,000 plus new cleaning gear. Oates, cleaning Aussie messes since 1930.
Triple M rocks footy. Halftime highlights.
Get expert service trusted by the trade at your local Mitre 10 Trade Centre.
Flanagan left to Gutherson, left to Holmes, and Val Holmes is going to score a lovely St George Illawarra try, big foul, and the Dragons strike first, baby. Right, it goes to Wishart, gets it away to Qatar. And then it goes to Ryan Pappenhausen, who slides over and scores a lovely try. Melbourne 8, St George Illawarra 6. And welcome back. Highlights are thanks to Mitre 10 Trade. Get expert service trusted by the trade at your local Mitre 10 Trade Centre. At @NRL. Shifty says he's listening, catching squid down at Little Kongwong, which is a beach down in La Perouse Way. I hope that's all you catch down there, Shifty. And good luck with all that. Good to hear from you. The oddest thing happened today when we got to this establishment. To come up the lift of the studio, this is something you don't see in 2025. There's a man in the lift sitting on a chair. What? And he was in there when I got in there. He's in there when you got in there. Kiwi Steve, our producer. Why is there a man sitting on a chair in the lift?
I've got no idea, but it was very awkward. I didn't know where to look. He had his keys dangling. But I'm going back out there and saying, what are you doing here on a Saturday, you imbecile?
Like, maybe he's just mad. Maybe he's Burko. He's just sitting in the lift, and everyone thinks he's got some purpose.
He's got security kit on, but
I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, anyway, that's weird.
Interesting one.
Yeah. _NRL. Cuddle says, last night there was some debate about you taking Sian out for dinner in your shorts. Did you mention this to Sian, and tell us the truth? What did she say?
I did mention it. She was very, very fine with it, but I must say So we walked out of the stadium and we jumped in an Uber together, and she definitely did look better than me.
Yeah, right. You dressed nicely.
She looked,
Yeah.
And then I was dressed fairly nice, I feel.
Yeah.
But you, who body shames me every time I come on the show.
You body shame me.
No, I don't.
You say I've got
but you don't have a backside.
flat ass, you say.
No, you don't have one.
Well, that's body shaming. I'm only hair shaming you. I'm saying your legs are so hairy.
Well, you said yesterday, don't go near a fire because I'll be seared.
He'll be seared. But anyway, so she's okay with you taking her out to a fancy restaurant in shorts?
Yep, she's fine. Wasn't that fancy, but well, you're actually Miss Portugal has brushed you tonight. You were just telling me.
Yeah, she's going out for dinner with the girls. They're going up market. They're going to the restaurant in the Matraville Hotel.
Ooh.
So I might just sit at home and watch the next couple of games. I think the Sharkies-Doggies game will be a good game.
It'll be a good game. Why do I feel, before we talk about the Doggies game, why do I feel you'd be a bit clingy? Like you'd be a bit weird with Miss Portugal. Like, why are you going out with the girls
when you could go out with? I am like that.
Why?
I don't know. I've been with my wife for 41 years. I like her company.
But she needs friends. She needs her own life. You just do weird stuff all the time. Like just then, we're having a laugh about the lift guy.
Yeah.
And we're all talking in here, and you just got your headphones on.
Yeah, right.
What are you doing?
Well, I probably was you were probably offending me with what you were talking about. So look, 2 days in a row with you.
Yeah, it's a lot.
You got to put your headphones on now and then. Anyway, here they come for the second half. Melbourne 8, St George, Illawarra 6. Now, seriously, this moron, Steve Sarkis, has started this craze where wherever people see me, they ask me for Easter show tickets. East Gardens, Easter show tickets, walking through Pitt Street. I just don't have Easter show tickets. I can't give them to you if I don't have them.
Who is Steve Sarkis?
Just some idiot. Lives in Pendle Hill. He's a clown. Melbourne 8, St George Illawarra 6. We're going to get a halftime report from David Riccio very shortly, thanks to Bob Jane T-Marts. Pocket even more savings at Bob Jane. Buy 3, get 1 free. Bridgestone, Yokohama, Kumo. To get up to $150 instant cash back on selected Pirelli and Bridgestone tyres. T's and C's apply. Here's the thing, they want you to call them, 13 26 25 or bobjane.com.au. We're about to get underway the second half. We'll catch up with David shortly. Can the St George Illawarra side trail by 2? Can they come back, show that character, show that resilience they showed in the first half where they defended their line on many, many occasions? Obviously, Grubby, an area they've really targeted to work on.
Yeah, definitely. And, in the first couple of weeks, their defence hasn't been up to standard, but Shane Flanagan has obviously honed down on that, and they're in the game. It suits them, this game. Get down the trenches. They just need to hold out this pretty good Melbourne attack.
Now, Blore has it for Melbourne. Down on the sideline with his halftime report, David Riccio.
Yeah, good news from both sheds as far as injuries are concerned. A clean bill of health for both teams. Just as far as Craig Bellamy is concerned for the Melbourne Storm, he was pretty pleased. He said, guys, get ready to go the 80 minutes, and very much like that first half. Find your points at the back end of this second half to get our victory. He did touch on that passive defensive line in the outside backs, just shutting down Valentine Holmes. Felt as though they were a little bit passive as far as trying to keep Val quiet. For Dragons coach Shane Flanagan, well, what was interesting was that Damien Cook spent plenty of time on the field after the halftime siren, speaking to the on-field referee, clearly disappointed with the penalty count, and that's what Flanagan spoke to his team about: discipline. We cannot be ill-disciplined against the Melbourne Storm and think that we're going to walk away with the points. So he wants a far more disciplined St George Illawarra side in the second half.
Yeah, thank you, David. And on that penalty count, Storm 5-1 lead the penalties. Damien Cook's at dummy half. Here is Tuapolotu, and brought down 20 metres his own side of the halfway line, make it 10. Plays it again, it'll come to the centre of the park. Ilias, and then Sewer, and he's held up by Bloor for the fourth play. Cook goes over the halfway line, fends away from McDonald. McDonald hangs on the last tackle, Sully is the dummy half. Then it goes to Flanagan, who kicks from 30 metres out. And again, this will just dribble over the sideline, 2 metres out from the Melbourne Storm line. No change. Mitsubishi Triton scoreboard, Melbourne 8-6.
Yeah, nice little play there. Inside ball from Ilias and Flanagan linking up there. And yeah, I'm not too sure about not keeping the ball in there. They just got out at half-time. They don't need a rest. But look, it's a good position for the Saints, for Melbourne to be coming out of their own half.
Okay, Grant gets into dummy half and then comes back to the centre where Eli Katoa has a run. And then Grant will go across to Anderson, who's brought down by big Luciano Leilua, and Val Holmes involved in the tackle too. Interesting to see Laurie Daly eating a Kit Kat in the Melbourne Storm dressing room there, Joshy Reynolds.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm assuming it's just to be working with Craig Bellamy for the Origin, because they've gone to a bit of a partnership. So, yeah, I'd love to be in the box with Bellamy, actually.
Yeah.
He loses his marbles sometimes.
He does, doesn't he? Pappenhausen back there for the kick from Wishart. Downtown she goes. Gutherson. Oh, he's knocked it back, Clint Gutherson. It's A-OK. It's A-OK. And stopped 20 metres out from his own line on tackle 1. 3 gone second half. Flanagan is the man at dummy half for St George Illawarra. Christian Tuapolotu, and brought down by Kamakamitha. 30 metres out from his own line on tackle 2. At the play the ball, Damien Cook. Luciano Leilua. By the way, St George Illawarra fans, you have Parramatta next week. And Melbourne, you have Manly at Brookie, or Four Pines Park if you like. Ilias, Jaden Sewer floats one back, taken by Couchman straight up the middle, and stopped there, just his own side of the halfway line in centre field. So Cook will go to Ilias, then it goes to Gutherson, it comes out to Moses Sully, puts the fend on, brought down by Munster, 30 metres out on tackle 5, look for the kick. A dummy half, it comes back across to Ilias, and from 30 out up it goes, chasing through is Sloan. Oh, it bounces beautifully for St George Illawarra, but it's still tackle 5. Cook has it, kicks down the centre once again, taken on the full by Anderson, and he does very, very well to get back into the field of play, a Mac as I'm loving at the moment.
Valentine Holmes steaming through there, just couldn't get Anderson in the end goal, but this is once again Dragons coming out firing with their baseball bats.
Now Eli Katoa, and he gets it back to Grant. It's come loose, but Xavier Coates has it. Xavier Coates gets away from one. That's a good run from the winger. Again at dummy half, Grant gives it to Kamakamitha. And a good tackle from Couchman. He's got good tackling technique, the young boy Couchman. Young Toby Couchman. And then the ball's come loose out of dummy half, picked up by Grant. It goes back into Munster on the halfway line. He'll kick it on tackle 5, and it comes down. It bounces again. A lot of letting it bounce. It's going to be picked up by Howard, who kicks it through again. Harry Grant is there, but he knocks it on. No try. Picked up by Gutherson, and St George Illawarra will be thanking God that Harry Grant didn't pick that up cleanly.
What was Torrell Sloan doing there? He didn't have one crack at it. He could have had 3 attempts at it. Things like that is going to cost you, as we see Harry Grant hobbling back into the Melbourne Storm defensive line.
Christian Topolotto, let's go down to the sideline straight away for this, with Harry Grant limping. Down to you, David.
Yeah, Maroon, certainly in a lot of discomfort is the Melbourne Storm champion Harry Grant. It was all in that muddled play where he did a kick chase and he's come down awkwardly and he's limping badly. There's a few profanities coming out of his mouth as he's trying to get back on side. He's staying on the field at this point in time. Harry Grant keeping an eye on him, guys.
As Suar floats one across now, and it ends up with big Luciano Leilua. Val Holmes has got it now. Christian Tuipulotu can't get rid of Wishart, and with the help of Will Warbrick, they bring him down. 23 metres out on tackle 5. Last play, Tuipulotu gets up whinging and plays it to Gutherson. It's the last. Here's Flanagan. They go short side again. Leilua, the Gutherson. Oh, it's all passes gone behind Val Holmes and over the sideline. Well, the thought was right, just the execution.
This is the second time that the Dragons have done this. They must have identified something in the week that the Melbourne Storm maybe switch off on last play on the short side. A nice little play there, and just the last pass wasn't on, but it's definitely on. Let's see if the Saints can make Melbourne pay.
Yeah, okay, Melbourne are 20 metres out. If you've just joined us, Mitsubishi Triton scoreboard, Melbourne 8, St George Illawarra 6, 7 minutes gone in the second half of this game. This is Will Warbrick getting up to play it back, and Grant gets into dummy half, gets the pass then on to Katoa, and Big Ellie will play at 15, his own side of halfway on tackle 3. At dummy half it goes back across to Liero. Liero turns to pass and takes the tackle. They're just their own side of halfway. Tackle 4. Short side Grant out of dummy half, but he decides to kick it. And down their way, you pick it up is Clint Gutherson over the 10. So this time now, St George Illawarra running toward, if you like, the shire end of Netstrata Jubilee. Tuipulotu brings it forward. Lots of people reminding us at @NRL that back in the old days when we were kids, every elevator had an elevator man in it, an elevator operator. They did. Are you old enough to remember that, Josh?
I remember when I was a plumber on the work sites, and you'd have to go up levels. There was an elevator guy.
Yeah.
But no, not as old as you, mate. No.
Tackle 4, Cook, and then Couchman. I think people used to get in there and drop a little fart in there for the elevator man, just to make him feel comfortable. There's Ilias from 40 metres out. Up she goes. Pappenhausen doesn't get near it. Flanagan knocks it on, though. Kyle Flanagan, he knocked it on. It's just about to click. It's just about to all click into gear, Joshy.
Yeah, well, I spoke about it earlier in the call. Dragons' kick chase need to be a little bit better, and that was good. There was 3-4 people around the ball. I know Flanagan dropped it. That's what you want, and it just seems at the moment the Dragons are on top. I know they dropped the ball there, but they're putting Melbourne in awkward positions, coming out of your own half. It's so hard to make metres on a day like today, so let's see if they can force Melbourne into an error.
And Warbrick will play it on Teddy's own side of the halfway line, then to Grant, and then Liero goes across field. Flanagan stops him, Damien Cook, and they wrestle him down 9 metres out. Now Jacob Little's about to come out onto the field. Wishart, Kamakamitha, you're a Jacob Little fan, Grubby?
I just think I am a fan of Lidsey. I played with him at the Tigers, but I think this is just great timing. As we can see, both teams go to their 4 teams in Bodson Garlic and Little.
And then it went from Grant back inside to Anderson. He gets it back to Wishart. Wishart knocks it on. It's picked up by Cook. And Wishart was just sort of, as soon as he grabbed it, he was tackled.
And that was Valentine Holmes. He's having a really good game today. Not the big plays he has scored a try, but it's his effort areas. Valentine Holmes, his scramble and effort has been really, really good today. It's good to see the leaders for St George stepping up when they need it most.
Harvey Norman replay. Let's have a look at that. Damien Cook's cop Will Warbrick's shoulder in the cheek there.
Well, if Luciano Leilua got put on report for that other one, that's got to be. That's exactly the same.
Yeah.
That's worse.
Yeah. Damien Cook's okay, but that Will Warbrick, he's a big strapping lad. Down to you on the sideline, David.
Yeah, look, Bronson Garlick has been up and about for the Melbourne Storm, just keeping an eye on Harry Grant. Harry's pushing through the pain. He's staying out there. He's trying to show Craig Bellamy that he doesn't want to come off. Bronson Garlick's been up and about. I'll say this, boys, in Las Vegas at Allegiant Stadium, there was an elevator man. He did the entire 4 games, the poor bugger.
Is that
long
right?
day.
Yeah.
Massive shift.
Yeah, that's it.
In the elevator. I'll tell you another one. I think not in the elevator here at Jubilee Stadium, but in the stairs, Maroon, was the great former Prime Minister, John Howard.
Oh, great. I've had the pleasure of meeting John Howard. Good. He's a great St George Illawarra fan. Tackle 5, Flanagan from 30 metres out. Tackle 5, up it goes. And up goes Willie Warbrick. but maybe somebody was escorted off the ball and St George Illawarra get a penalty. Well, this is within kicking range here.
Yeah, I'm taking the kick here, especially with Val Holmes. He's a pretty confident kicker. I'm interested to see what it'll be on the kick predictor today in the wet. But, yeah, Wishart ran him off the ball there. And once again, Valentine Holmes competing when St George need it most.
So, are they going to take the 2 or are they going to keep the pressure on? Melbourne 8, St George Illawarra 6. They're going to take the 2 points. Kyle Flanagan comes in. And thank you, David, for that story about the elevator man in Vegas. I mean, people would be getting in there farting that much. He would be immune to fart. He wouldn't smell fart anymore.
He wouldn't? No, you don't reckon?
No, he just would not smell it anymore. He would be immune to it.
Okay. You're probably right. No, I was going to say, Johnny Howard is what a big Dragons supporter, is he?
Yeah.
He had a beautiful, luscious set of eyebrows, didn't he?
He did have a good set of eyebrows.
Really, really well maintained man.
Yours will be like that when you get old.
You reckon?
Bloody oath.
I've got a monobrow.
You'll have eyebrows like Mal Meninga, the way you're going.
Big Mal.
Big Mal's got some eyebrows, hasn't he? So they get a penalty because Will Warbrick's shoulder hit Damien Cook in the cheek. Damien's coming off for an HIA, and on goes Jacob Little.
Isn't this interesting, though? So Cookie comes off for a HIA, but there's no penalty. How do you make sense of that?
Well,
that wasn't for the Cookie one. Or are you saying the Warbrick one back there or here?
I'll come back to you. Hang on a second. Here comes Val Holmes, and it's hit the upright and come back. Taken by Wishart, and then Wishart's taken by Val Holmes, who got out of the tackle and eventually is stopped there by Hamish Stewart. Explain to me what you're saying again.
Well, if Cookie's gone off for the Warbrick hit back before, they're down their own half. Doesn't that have to be a penalty if he's going off for the HIA?
Well, you make a good point. Somebody's left the kicking tee out there. The ball is played to Pappenhausen. Here's Warbrick. Warbrick is going to be tackled.
Say that happens with the kicking tee. Does the ball boy get money deducted
for leaving it there?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everyone has to be held accountable, Maroon.
Well, he'd get run over if he goes out there now. Here's Pappenhausen. And tackle 4. Grant's a dummy half. Munster now got it away to Kamakamitha. You don't want to let the ball boy run over by Kamakamitha. Tackle 5. Grant. Back then to Munster. Munster's kick is down, spiralling high. Sloane's dropped it. Kick through by Bloor. Knock on. They're going to play the knock on. But just a couple of critical errors from St George Illawarra.
Oh, that was an ugly torpedo, as we can see here in the Harvey Norman replay. Look at that, twirling on a day like today. But yes, Sloane hasn't been very confident under the high ball. Look, I'm going to let him off the hook for that one though, Maroon, because that was an absolute perler of a torpedo. But just that kick, Valentine Holmes, I feel he should have nailed that.
Yeah.
No, he's a very, very good kicker, and it's imagine the turn of events here. If they score here, Dragons should have been up 8 all with the ball.
Yeah.
But it just shows how important having a good kicker is. And I thought penalty here for the shot, the scrum clock.
So the scrum clock has gone off. And
what was that?
Oh dear. Wow, Melbourne 8, St George Illawarra 6, and they're going to take the tab, and it comes out from McDonald.
I think you rephrased that.
They're in the Westpac red zone with Grant at dummy half. Left side it comes to Munster. Up the middle goes Bloor. He must score, and he plants it down. This should be okay. They tried to get underneath him. Gutherson says he did. Referee Goff says we're going to have a look at it. No try.
He loses control of possession of the ball as he comes to ground.
Harvey Norman replay. Let's have a look at this.
We can see it on the Harvey Norman replay, Maroon, if Gutho can get under him. Ilias again. Oh, he's knocked it on.
Yes.
That is a great play. Gutho had a crack at that too, and he's allowed to, obviously, because it's in the scoring motion. But once again, the Dragons desperate. Ooh. The other angle definitely looks like he dropped it. Maroon.
Yeah. Harvey Norman replay.
Just looking to see if there's any separation.
They're going to have to go with the referee here.
Well, if they can't get... If Leota didn't score, he didn't score.
Yeah.
The ball comes away from his grip and is against the arm of the defender, which constitutes a knock-on over the goal line. We have a decision.
Yeah, no try. St George Illawarra fans, this is no try. So, Melbourne don't kick on. And this will be no try on the Harvey Norman replay.
Once again, Maroon, though, the change of direction. Nice little drop play. It's so hard in the wet to move sideways when you've got to, tie in for that drop play. Both teams, when they have done that, they've looked really, really dangerous.
Triple M _ NRL. Keegan Brown says, I would like the job as an elevator operator. You wouldn't be able to handle the pressure, Keegan. You'd fall asleep in the elevator.
I reckon there's a bit of pressure involved. Like what? To know what level to go to?
He wouldn't know what level. He wouldn't. If he was in a department store, he wouldn't know where the menswear was or the delicatessen. Little is out there. It comes across. It ends up Luciano Leilua. Will be brought down by Anderson. Tackle 3. Little, Flanagan, and Hamish Stewart. It would be a job that would have its ups and downs, one suggests Grubby.
I like that.
Little and Flanagan on tackle 4. That looked forward to Luciano Leilua. Play on. Westpac red zone. Bringing the footy. 19 metres out. Little again. Flanagan's got it. Right side, Ilias. Right side, Gutherson. Sully is brought down. Oh, look at the Dragons. Look at the Dragons. Changeover 5 metres out. Did they know that was tackle 5? Because I didn't.
Nah, they definitely did. I don't think it's a bit of a ploy. I think they've gone in at half-time and said, look, boys, we do not care if we're not kicking on last play, but let's make Melbourne come out of the corners. It's tough. It's tough to find metres, and now Dragons got to try and force the error again.
And this is Howarth. Then Munster. And here's Big Kamikamitha, who's back out there. Still Melbourne 8, St George Illawarra 6 on the Mitsubishi Triton scoreboard. And this is Liero. Got a nice little pass away to Wishart. Straightens up Munster and taken a beautiful tackle by Hamish Stewart and brought down right on the halfway line. Last tackle is Wishart again. Pappenhausen. And then he gets the pass away. It goes out to Anderson. Couldn't get it back inside to Pappenhausen. Last play, 21 metres out. Here come the Melbourne Storm. Wishart. Up it goes from Wishart Jr. Taken beautifully by Warbrick. Back to Pappenhausen. Then to Grant. He'll kick out across the face of the uprights again. Sully can't get to it. Still alive. Law. Knock on Melbourne Storm. St George Illawarra ball. No change. Melbourne 8. St George Illawarra 6.
Every time something like this happens when we're in the game where St George, they work for each other. You can see him growing. Clint Gutherson is really rallying. Oh, did you see his ear there?
Yeah.
Is that? That's not split, is it?
Let's try and get a close-up on that again. As
it's disgusting if it is.
Yeah.
Maybe he was wearing an earring and it got ripped out.
No. It looked like it was just split in two, didn't it?
It did.
Little, DeBellin. Have you ever worn an earring in your life, Grubby?
A big diamond one.
Really?
Yeah.
Here's Little. Little goes over or up to the halfway line. It's a good run. Plays the ball quickly. Tackle 4. Gutherson. Good yards, St George Illawarra. And this will be last play. Little again. Back then for Ilias from 40 metres out. Up it goes. 17 gone. Second half. Up goes Xavier Coates. Tackled mid-air. All day long. Down to you, David Riccio, for Bob Jane.
Guys, what about the defensive effort of Clint Gutherson? This is the style of play that gets Parramatta Eels fans upset and why they let their captain go. It's been 2 crucial try-savers from Clint Gutherson. One about a couple of minutes ago that's kept the Dragons in this fight. One in the first half. He's been sensational today, the Dragons' number 1.
Now, thank you very much, Kamikamitha. David Riccio, he'd never wear an earring. He's not an earring guy. Penalties are 7-2 Melbourne. Played back, comes across to King, the Singleton Greyhound. 5 metres out. And then back to the centre. He was hit hard. DeBellin got him, and so too to Dylan Egan. On debut, the ball's come loose. Gutherson has it. Leilua now over the halfway line. Ducking and weaving, but still Melbourne lead the game 8-6. 18 and a half gone. They can win this one, St George Illawarra. Flanagan, Christian Tuipulotu. And tackle count restarts. 32 metres out. Someone's lost a boot. Little is there. Now it comes across to Couchman. Hit by Kamikamitha. The Thurul Butcher will get up and play it back. A dummy half, Little again. This time it'll go across to Ilias. Then it ends up with Flanagan. Gutherson now comes to Sully. Sully, well, they contain him well, and Moses Sully's going to play it 9 metres out from the Melbourne Storm line. Played to Gutherson. Then it comes across to Sewer. He's only 1 metre out. 19 gone in the second half of this game. Tackle count restarts again. Gutherson, they just need to compose here. St George Illawarra. Gutherson is over the line, but I don't think he got them all down.
King Gutho, so close. It's going to be hard to see from any angle here.
I just lose sight of it as they all come
as
across the line.
Goffey says he's held up. But as Ricky-O said, this is just Clint Gutherson competing on every play. As we can see here, he's put it down on one of the Melbourne Storm players' feet, but he's everywhere. But the one thing I would love for St George to do is Little had a dummy half scoop. Gutho, but there's no one else in push support. They're going through the middle of the Melbourne Storm. They need to be around the ball and they'll find some joy.
Harvey Norman replay. Big Hisense TV sale on now at Harvey Norman. King size, big size, king size, whatever you want. He's pulled down by
inside.
Could you please not touch me there, if you don't mind? Played to Little. Is Flanagan. At least dinner and drinks first. And the Turkish Cowboys back out there. 3 metres out. Emre Gula plays it to Little. Comes across to Moses Sully. Right on the try line. And brought down by Howarth, a half a metre out from the Melbourne Storm line. Jacob Little is there again. Back toward the centre. No, he can't get the pass away. Look, great defence, Melbourne Storm. They've got to be credited on their defence too. 8-6 Melbourne lead on the Mitsubishi Triton scoreboard. Sully and Gula, and taken by King and Kamakamitha, and they can't reef the ball out of his hands. Third tackle, Little is there. Left side, it comes loose, and they're going to get a penalty here. They're going to get a penalty, a ruck infringement from Melbourne, and Peter Goff gives the Dragons a penalty right in front.
See, this is an interesting one because players do this all the time where they'll play at the hooker's hand, and I thought Jacob Little got out a little bit there, and Kamakamitha had every right to play his hand. As you can see, Harry Grant here speaking to Goffey about it because it probably happens to him all the time. So I want to see here on the Harvey Norman replay, if he gets out, yeah, he's taken a step there. He's allowed to play at his arm there. Interesting call from the ref.
Yeah, well, yes, indeed. You know, those ones, they go either way, don't they?
Yeah, but you do see them go either way, but then sometimes that'll be play on, won't it, Maroon?
Absolutely. Melbourne 8, St George Illawarra 6. Pertec kick predictor 100%. This is right in front, so he won't miss this one, Val. And this will make it very interesting last 19 minutes of this game. Here's Val from right in front. Mitsubishi Triton, 10 years cap price service, 10-year warranty. Val Holmes, no dramas at all. You know what? We're all locked up. 8-all as Triple M rocks the footy.
Pocket even more savings at Bob Jane T-Marts. Want a free Bridgestone, Yokohama or Kumho tyre? Buy 3 and the 4th tyre's free. Plus get up to $150 instant cash back on selected tyres. At Bob Jane T-Marts, they'll look after you. Visit bobjane.com.au or call 13 26 25.
What a sensational contest we've got here, guys, and sensing the occasion, St George Illawarra coach Shane Flanagan has come down to the sideline to coach from the sideline. There's heaps of seats for him to sit on, but he won't sit down. He's prowling the sideline like the junkyard dog. He's foaming at the mouth, yelling, clapping, trying to get his Dragons team home. 8-all, 17 minutes remaining. What a game we've got.
Thank you, David. There's the kickoff. We get underway again. Flanagan has it. Flanagan's giving it to Gula.
Can we just speak about what we've seen on the hill?
Yes, please. It must be a Bucks.
It looked like a Bucks, didn't it?
Yeah. So the Buck is dressed up as a cheer girl, and the rest of them are wearing shirts with his photo on it, as what I gathered. Little gets into dummy half. DeBellin, are you going to have a big Bucks?
Not a big Bucks. I'll just have a couple of the boys over. Not too sure what we're doing yet, but it's good to see Melbourne have ejected Bronson Garlick into the game. I thought they needed to bring someone into the game who can possibly do what Little's doing for the Saints and try and open the game up.
Dummy half, Little again. Then it went to Couchman, and we are still, well, anybody's game. Dragons hanging in there. 8-all, 23 minutes gone, second half. Mitsubishi Triton scoreboard. Little Back to Ilias from 45 metres out on tackle 5. That's a high kick. And comes down, batted back by Flanagan. And then dropped by Munster. He's claiming it was taken out of his hands, and it was. And referee Peter Goff penalises Clint Gutherson for removing the football from the Melbourne player.
Would we say the tackle was complete there, boys? He was on the floor, but yeah, it's a tough one. That's a very, very lucky call there for the Melbourne Storm. Otherwise, the Dragons could have been on the attack again.
You're starting to sound like Aaron Woods, mate. The referees can do no right. The referees can do no right. That was a penalty, mate, all day long.
He said it was a possible tough call.
Well, I don't know that I agree with that. Damien Cook, we've got an update on Damien Cook. Down to you, David.
Yeah, look, it looks like an A-OK pass for Damien Cook, guys. Can come back into the action. Jacob Little's been out there. With 16 minutes remaining. Points on the line here. You'd think Cook gets back into the action.
Bob Jane T-Marts on board with us in 2025. Munster, Pappenhausen almost through. Pulled down 29 metres out on tackle 3. Gets up to play it back. In a dummy half is Howarth, Munster. Munster comes across the field. Munster gets the pass away to Wishart. Wishart straightens up. Brought down by Couchman, and so too the young kid Egan over the top. He'll get up and play it back at dummy half. It'll come across now to Garlick. Garlick goes to Pappenhausen. Pappenhausen to Howard. Inside the Westpac red zone. 11 metres out, last play. It's 8 points all at dummy half. It comes across now for Munster. Nice kick. Up they go. Eli Katoa come flying through and grounds the ball. He's claiming a Melbourne Storm try. Peter Goff points to the spot. Beautiful, beautiful execution. And Melbourne Storm go up 12-8.
You're not wrong, Maroon. As a kicker, you want to put the ball on the dime every single time, and that's what the Melbourne Storm have done here. But Eli Katoa, as you can see here on the Harvey on replay, Munster, he's not even facing where he's kicked, but he's such a threat in the air, Katoa, isn't he? He's such a well-rounded back rower, but it's so hard to stop here. Even Flanagan, you can see he's trying to box him out, but too big, too strong. The Melbourne Storm take the lead with 15 minutes to go.
Yes, indeed. Great try to a great player. Eli Katoa, we've seen him at the Warriors. He was always going to get better when he joined Craig Bellamy. Of course, Hot Honey has dropped at Macca's for limited time only. Hot Honey McSpicy, Hot Honey dipping sauce for your chicken McNuggets. Ready for game-changing flavour. Beautiful, sweet honey. You love your honey, don't you, Grubby?
Oh, I absolutely love it. That Macca's honey burger is unbelievable. I was starving the other day. Starving. Yeah. I didn't eat all day, and I just seen the sign. I actually chucked a U-turn and went back and got one.
You didn't go not over double yellow line.
Never do that. No.
Oh, hang on. They're going to take this try off him. A possible knock on in the grounding. Well, we thought for all money it was a try. It was scored 3 minutes ago. Dragons fans, let's have a look. Did he knock it on in the air?
The ball comes off Elias Katoa and he's dragged forward into Kyle Flanagan's
No try in the modern game of rugby league. Eli Katoa will have that taken away from him.
No try.
Did I say no try?
You said no try.
You better bloody believe it. We're 8-all.
Dragon supporters live to fight another day. Producer Kiwi, look at him. Oh, the boys are excited.
Kiwi Steve, he's a good Dragons man. We get a shot of the Craig Bellamy box.
I'm sure I've seen him support someone else before.
He's got an old Gold Coast Chargers jumper he wears. Here's Dylan Egan getting up to play it back, and it's played back to Little, and they get a penalty. The St George Illawarra side, and a piggyback downtown. They're high-fiving each other, David Riccio.
I'll put that down, put that no try down to the one and only scramble, which was Kyle Flanagan. Shane Flanagan would have been filthy that no one got around the ball on that Eli Katoa kick except Kyle Flanagan. Got around it and he got the result. Then big Dylan Egan on debut. What a run to now produce a St George Illawarra penalty to have them 35 metres out from their try line on the attack, 14 minutes remaining.
So St George Illawarra now 8 points all. And Val Holmes has it on tackle 1. Little. Flanagan, it'd be a real boost for them to have a win here. The Turkish cowboy, Emre Gula, 29 metres out, centre field, tackle 2. Left side now to Bellin. And Flanagan is 20 metres out. Dylan Egan, he's only 12 out on tackle 3. And we'll get up and play it. Here's the red V. Back toward the centre of the field they come to Bellin. And Flanagan is 10 out. Good defence from Munster to bring him down. Tackle 4 right in front of the sticks. They'll go right side to Bellin. 5 out now. He's stopped. Good tackle again from Munster. 3 metres out. Last play. Is it too early for a field goal, Grubby?
Oh, I reckon they'll be running it.
As Lachlan Ilias. And Flanagan. And he's chopped down. He's chopped down. Changeover. Melbourne Storm ball.
It's definitely a ploy from the St George Dragons halves. They do not want to give away a seven tackle set, especially when the game is on the line. What a game we've had today, Maroon. Absolutely. The Dragons fan will be super proud of their team, especially their defensive efforts.
And Melbourne Storm again with the ball. 13 minutes left on the Mitsubishi Triton scoreboard. Oh, Anderson's dropped that. Anderson has dropped that for the Melbourne Storm. He's dropped that as easy as you play. He just got up without the football. Completion rate 27 to 35. Melbourne. The replay, Grubby, what happens here? He just gets up.
He kicks it.
Oh, hang on.
De Bellin kicks it. Little sneaky kick there. The Dragons get away with one, but they go on the attack. Let's see what the halves and Gutho can come up here. If they go ahead here, Maroon, it'll be hard to run them down. Not long to go.
Well, hang on.
But their tails up.
78% of the ball in the last 10 minutes. Here's Flanagan again. Gutherson, numbers. He steps inside. He had his winger. Well, he had that fullback there with that winger isolated from the Melbourne Storm. Gutherson will play it to Little. Little's going to try and go on his own. He's there. He's there. Jacob Little scores right on the try line. St George Illawarra. They take the lead 12-8. Oh, he got it down right on the try line.
I don't want to toot my own horn, Maroon, but I told you, bring on Jacob Little. He's been exceptional through the middle of this game as he belts down the Dragons emblem. And what a game this has been, and a nice set from the Dragons here. And as we can see, Pappenhausen's in the tackle. Gutho fights, and Little just says, you know what, boys, I'm having a crack. Showed some superior strength. Looked short, but it's try confirmed. Dragons take the lead.
Yeah, it was nothing pretty about it, but it's 4 points. St George Illawarra 12, Melbourne 8 on the Triple M Mitsubishi Triton scoreboard. Now, the question is, can they hold on? Because you're saying they can.
Oh, I just think the way the game's been, Maroon, it's a tight game, and you know, Melbourne are going to have to chance their arm a little bit. If St George keep doing what they're doing, just put him into the corners and tell Melbourne to come out, I think they can hold on for the Cogra faithful.
Okay, Pertec kick predictor, they need to convert this. They need to convert this. 72%. Val Holmes, he's missed quite an easy one today, Val. But if he puts this over, it puts him up by 6. They can think about the field goal. And, okay, here's Val Holmes. Pertec kick predictor likes him. 15 in from touch, 23 metres back. Val hits this one. Oh, nice and straight, nice and strong. St George Illawarra 14. Melbourne Storm 8, David Riccio.
Toot Joshy Reynolds. The Dragons are up. 10 minutes remaining. What a contest. I just think it's a sensational coaching strategy here on the reason why Jacob Little was able to score from dummy half. Damien Cook is still out on the field. So what the Dragons are doing, Shane Flanagan's taken Toby Couchman off and kept his 2 little dynamites out of dummy half on the field. Cook's playing in a 13 role and Jacob Little on the field at the same time. 2 dummy halves out there causing damage for the Storm.
The kickoff is long. We talk about the set after points. Emre Gula has got the ball, brings it back in the field to play. 10 metres out, tackle 1. Hang on. Okay. All right, Dragons get a penalty. What's this about?
Takes possession of the ball, so he's out, so it's a goal line dropout.
Oh, hang on. He has come. No, this is a goal line dropout. They have made a mess of the kickoff, St George Illawarra.
Now, time's off.
I clearly don't know. Harvey Norman replay. Has he taken the ball from outside the field of play?
As the great Gus Gould would say, no.
Yes, he has. He's come from outside the field of play and caught it in the air, and that means he's caught it from outside the field of play. Grubby, have I read that right?
You have, mate. That's exactly what's happened here.
And they go the short drop out and then knock it on. Why did they go the short drop out? Are they trying to give this poor coach a coronary? Knocked on, knock on.
Oh, so it's called Melbourne knock on first.
Okay, well, they get out of trouble there.
I'm with you, though. Surely you're kicking it long.
Yeah.
You don't need the ball back. Just defend. You've defended well all game.
Harvey Norman replay. Knocked on by Katoa first.
I think the Bella might have knocked it on. He's definitely a slap at the ball, but let's see.
They're going to challenge this. Melbourne are going to challenge this. Did you not see Eli Katoa knock it on?
Whose hand's that? That's Harry Green.
Yeah.
He hits it backwards.
To determine the direction of the ball off Elias Katoa.
I think it might be knock on Eli Katoa.
Yeah.
What do you think, Grubby?
He's definitely got the first. He's definitely got the shot. It just depends which way it goes. Let's say. Well, it's hard to say, but the ref's called knock on, so you've got to stick with the on-field if we can't.
Based on all available camera angles, we'll be supporting the on-field call of knock on Melbourne. Melbourne will retain their right to challenge.
Okay, so Melbourne keep the challenge, but the Dragons will have the ball.
So in other words, the short dropout was a masterstroke.
Yes, indeed it was. So, Flano down on the sideline, 9.5 minutes to go. This is going to look. Melbourne Storm are never beaten. It's a serious question, Grubby. Do you get down there and pot a field goal?
Oh, you'd be thinking about it now. If you can get yourself in a good position, but you got if you're Lockie Ellis or Flanagan, whoever's going to step up, you got to nail it. Because if you don't, and it's a 7 tackle set, that is the last thing you want. But that's why they get paid the big bucks, Maroon.
So.
You guys need to form up.
This is now Peter Goff's just telling the boys how to pack a scrum. Professional rugby league players. The scrum is fed. It's an absolute mad woman's breakfast. Jacob Little goes in there and gets the ball and is tackled by Garlick. Plays it to Cook, and then Moses Sully will be brought down by Blore. The ball is stolen, and it's with Howarth. This could be a game-changing moment. And now Shane Flanagan is blowing up like a second-hand lawnmower as it goes across to Munster. And there's players all over the place. Munster gets the ball, goes across field, does a little kangaroo skip, and then is pulled down 21 metres out on tackle 2. 8 minutes and 40 seconds left in the game. There's a converted try in it. So George Illawarra 14, Melbourne 8. Garlick has it on the Westpac red zone. Munster gets the pass then on to Liero, who goes inside the 10. Tackle count restarts. Garlick throws an ordinary pass picked up by Pappenhausen, and he'll play it 5 metres out from St George Illawarra's line. First tackle played to Grant, given to Munster. Liero now, and the ball is smothered up 5 metres out. Tackle to Melbourne. A dummy half, Grant again, then Wishart inside the 10. Great defence, St George Illawarra. Keep it up, lads. And Gula will let Wishart up to play it. This time he goes to Anderson. Oh, he's only a metre out. He's a metre out, Dragons fans. And then from dummy half, Grant got it away to Wishart. Wishart is held 2 metres out. Last play of the set. What about the defence from the Dragons? Now Munster will kick. Nice little kick. And Gutherson cleans it up. They're out of trouble this time. They're out of jail this time, baby.
Once again, the Dragons' defensive line stands tall. Oh, that was close. Melbourne asked many questions in that set, but as we can see here, this is a tough set for the Dragons. Few of their big boys on their haunches. Someone needs to step up.
And now Jack DeBellin will play it. They've had a couple of games already this year in their grasp, the Dragons, then haven't won them. And there's still 7 minutes to play in this game. They lead 14-8. Played then to Little, given to Christian Tuipulotu. Now this set, this kick is the most important play in this game thus far. Ilias from inside the 30 sends it downtown. It's taken on the full by Xavier Coates. Now, by the time Xavier is pulled down, he's only about 12 his own side of the halfway. Down to the sideline for Bob Jane. Here's David Riccio.
Yeah, look, it's getting pretty tense down here on the sideline as Pappenhausen finds some space for the Storm. As far as the changes are concerned, I can tell you that Toby Couchman's trying to get back into the action. Moses Sully's cramping badly. That's all happening, boys.
Okay, Willie Warbrick.
I too would be very, very nervous at the moment, Maroon.
Yes.
Robbie Reynolds, big Dragon supporter.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Roberto Reynolds.
Big Dragon supporter. Didn't even like the doggies.
Munster, he didn't even like the doggies when his own son was playing. Tackle 4. Liero will play it to Munster. It will go Munster now then to Wishart. Wishart to Pappenhausen. Inside the Westpac red zone, he'll take tackle 5. Hang on, we got a penalty. We've got a penalty to Melbourne, a late tackle. And that's a silly penalty. Gee, that's a silly penalty. 5.5 to go. And the ball is tapped by Grant, and it ends up with McDonald. They're 15 metres out. Melbourne Storm go on the attack. Grant, Liero, King goes inside the 10. Here come the Melbourne Storm. They're not done yet. Is this going to be a converted try? That's what they need. Grant, long pass Munster. Munster, the ball's come loose. Knock on Melbourne Storm. That's very out of character. Knock on Melbourne Storm. St George Illawarra have 4 minutes and 50 seconds to hold on.
You know what this is, Maroon? This is exceptional inside pressure, we call it. Munster loves the show and go. Probably got one of the best shows and goes in the game. 4 minutes to go. But they say, Jacob Little says, you know what? I'm pretty much throwing the Dragons team on my back and winning it for myself. He puts the pressure on Munster, who comes up with the error. Great work, Jacob Little.
Triple M NRL Mitsubishi Triton is the one with a 10-year warranty and 10 years cap price servicing. And you can't frighten the Mitsubishi Triton. Ball is played back to Little. Little is met by Howard. 4 minutes, Dragons fans. 4 minutes. That time Cook in a dummy half. Sloan has it. Met by Liero. Again, they need to get to their kick. Tackle 3. Liero is in the play the ball area. Little has it for St George Illawarra. We'll go down to you on the sideline, Dave Riccio.
Yeah, look, Moses Sully's come from the field, guys. Bad cramp. Toby Couchman out there, so Jaden Sewer has pushed to the centre position for the final 3 minutes.
This is Ilias, just on the halfway line. It's a big kick, but straight into the arms of Xavier Coates. 3.5 minutes. St George Illawarra 14, Melbourne 8. 3.5 minutes remain. Pappenhausen gets it away to Howard, but look at the defence. Howard is pulled down. 20 metres out from his own line. This will be an upset. The ball is played to Wishart. It's given then to Willie Warbrick. And the Warbrick man is tackled 21 metres out from his own line by DeBellin. He's been so good today, DeBellin, his work rate. Then King, 18 his own side of halfway. Tackle 4. Played then to Harry Grant. Back inside Pappenhausen. Got it away to Bloor. Bloor's over halfway. Xavier Coates steps inside 1. He's going backwards, Xavier Coates. Tries to link with somebody. McDonald gets a pass away now to Katoa. Katoa's inside the Dragons half. Gets a pass on to Warbrick. Warbrick is met and brought down by Coachman. Last play. 2.5 to go. Last play. 30 metres out. Here is Wishart. Will he kick? He gets it to Munster. Munster, Pappenhausen. Pappenhausen got the pass away, and they are 15 metres out. Melbourne Storm, and Seve is brought down. Marion Seve is brought down. What's happened here? 2 minutes left in the game. Changeover. That was tackle 5. That was tackle 6.
Once again, yeah, the Dragons defensive line stand up, and Seve mustn't have known it was last seconds. He had no urgency. to look to even offload that ball, but the Dragons, this is a game they've got to go back to and say, boys, we absolutely had a crack against one of the defensive, one of the best teams in the NRL. So good to see the Dragons stepping up today.
Yes, indeed. 1 minute 45, tackle 3. And Jacob Little, Terrell Sloan got away from one. Good run, Terrell Sloan. Inside Melbourne territory, fourth play, 90 seconds left. This is Gutherson. And this kick will be interesting. Tackle 5. A minute and 20 seconds left in the game. Here is the kick from Lachlan Ilias. It comes down. It's taken by Xavier Coates, who's taken by Jaden Sewer, who drags him into the in goal. Drags him into the in goal. That's the McDonald's play of the day. That's your play of the day. Jaden Sewer drags Xavier Coates in goal. Pure strength, Grubby.
Huge play from Jaden Sewer. And this is what you want from your leaders. Game on the line, one of the last plays of the game, and drags him about 5 metres, even 6. The Bucks party's going off. The boys will be out all night. You can just tell, Maroon, can't you?
Absolutely. They've stood up there in the rain in their short sleeve shirts. What are we doing here? They've challenged this.
Challenging decision to tackle back in goal. Foul play of forearm, face, hand in the face.
They're just clutching at straws now, the Melbourne Storm. They're just clutching at straws. They're challenging this. But Jaden Sewer, he just hung on to Xavier Coates and dragged him into the in-goal area. Pure strength, core strength, shoulder strength, leg strength. A great play.
Tackle is complete in goals.
Jaden Sewer.
And there's no foul play.
Yeah, there's no, that challenge, there was no way they were taking that off the Dragons. So goal line dropout, 43 seconds to go. But you know Shane Flanagan, he won't rest yet, because you can bet your life this will be a short dropout, and Melbourne Storm have done the short dropout. But you know what? It hasn't gone the 10. Thank you, linesman. Thank you, ball boys. Play of the day, Jaden Sewer. Dropout doesn't go 10. What a historic victory for 2025 for St George Illawarra. They're going to win this game, Grubby.
They sure are, Maroon, and they done it last year. They went down to Melbourne, I think it was, and beat the Storm. So brilliant effort, and you can just see it meant a lot to the Saints today. It meant a lot to their fans at their home ground. So big win for the Red V.
Yes, indeed. And look, they haven't let Melbourne Storm score a point in the second half of this game. They'll just get through proceedings here. 11 seconds left in the game. Jacob Little says, I'll have another crack at dummy half. Gets over the line, driven back, right on the line. 4 seconds left in the game. What a win for St George Illawarra this will be. He's going to have to play it. Damien Cook's at dummy half. Don't pass it, Damien Cook. He's brought down by McDonald. Surely that's full time now. Surely that's full time. Yes, indeed. The siren goes in the background. What a victory. I mean, they have let a couple of games slip away, St George Illawarra. Shane Flanagan gets a win today. Congratulations to his son Kyle and to Lachlan Ilias, Gutho, and the leaders in this team have stood up today. Jaden Sewer, what a play with a minute left in the game.
And you can just see what it means to Gutho. He screamed to the Dragons faithful on the hill. They toughed it out on the hill today, Maroon, and good on him. But you're right, Gutherson, Holmes, Cook, all their leaders really stood up. It meant a lot to them today, and a very good win to get them back on track.
Yes, indeed. We'll get David Riccio into position for some interviews. In fact, he's ready to go for Bob Jane. David Riccio.
I've got a very delighted Shane Flanagan. Well, you came down to the sideline and you wanted to get amongst the action, and I don't think you sat down. You had a lot of seats to sit on, Flano, but you up and about, really rode that one. Congratulations, terrific win.
Yeah, I just got a bit frustrated up in the box. We had a shot at goal, and I wanted everyone up, expect it, hit the post, and we didn't get it back. There was just a few things that frustrated me, and I just thought coming down on the sideline, might give you a bit of energy to the team, and, whether it does or not, who knows, but, the credit to the 17 boys that played, and then all the staff, because it has been a rocky start. We should have won at least one of those games. And, to come here and beat Melbourne Storm, who are, the benchmark, I think is a real, show to the club. Hopefully all our supporters and everyone, this side is a good side, and it showed today.
A lot of courage out there today. Like Jaden Seward, that drag back tackle, he carried a hand injury throughout the entire match. It looks as though that's the case. Then you got rookies like Dylan Egan carting it forward, and Moses Sully dropping like a fly with a badly cramp. It was a real team effort.
Yeah, the young boys did an outstanding job. I thought Hamish Stewart, he looks bashed up on the sideline. I think some bad news might be coming there with maybe a facial fracture. And he just toughed it out. He didn't want to come off. And, Dill Egan, you just saw what a hit player he's going to be. And he spoke about Sewer. Sewer had a pinched nerve in his neck at training on Friday and, probably shouldn't have played, but he wanted to play, and he just caught it late in the back end of the game there, but it showed what determination he has to get the job done.
Josh, Maroon, up to you.
Flano, Joshy Reynolds here, mate. Great win at home. I thought your leaders in Gutho, Valentine Holmes, and as you just mentioned, Sewer really stood up today. What was the chat throughout the week? You're playing a Melbourne Storm team who usually bully teams, but it seemed like it really meant something to the players today.
Yeah, mate, it did. As I said, we were disappointed. We competed against the Bulldogs here round one, and if a few things went our way, we might have made it a real scramble home in the last 5 or 6 minutes. We kicked a goal there, but it didn't happen, and then we went 12-0 up against South, and I thought they were ready to be knocked out, and we didn't get that done. So, I wanted those senior players, to come here and change the culture and change the attitude towards our performance, and they didn't really get it done against South Sydney, but you're exactly right, they did it today, so we're a big step in the right direction.
Well, good on you, Flano. We love you, mate. Go and enjoy it. I hope there's plenty more.
Boys.
Good on you, mate.
Plenty more.
Dragons 14 have beaten the Storm 8, and we'll get some more interviews down there for Bob Jane. And gee, I hope, because Flano made the point, you made the point, I mentioned earlier on, those first 2 games, you heard him say it then, that they could have taken one of them away. They could have won one of them, if not both of them. So then they get the bye, so then they get the win. So next week they're a red-hot crack against Parramatta too. Yeah, and that's the thing. The Dragons are probably going to be a team like that all year, Maroon. They're not going to blow anyone off the park, but they're there, they're going to compete, and there are going to be games that can be taken. That game down in Wollongong, we called it. They started way better than South. They're unbelievable, but they just, they let the foot off the throttle, and it didn't happen today. They were unbelievable today. They fought harder than Melbourne. They were aggressive. It was just a real complete performance from the Saints, and it's good to see. And Flano will be proud because that was a very, very big upset today, Maroon. Yeah, great win for St George Illawarra. Melbourne next week are back in Sydney at 4 Pines Park against Manly. So that's who they got next week. Dragons, Para, Melbourne, Manly. So a real opportunity for the Dragons to kick-start their season a couple of weeks late. But gee, we love to see the Red V do well. And obviously a bloke like Shane Flanagan, he's been there and done that. He's won a premiership. He can help rebuild the club. And this is what it's all about. Well, he knows what it takes, Maroon. And, we spoke about it earlier in the call. Defence wins comps, and Flano has won a comp before, so he knows. So he would be disappointed in a few of their defensive efforts in the first few weeks, but this was the total opposite. The scramble, the dedication, the intent today was on from all the Dragons teams, so he would be super proud with his team today. Let me go back down to you on the sideline, David.
I've got a pretty pleased Lockie Ilias, no doubt. Congratulations, that was a terrific win.
Yeah, no, it was pretty cool. Obviously not the start we wanted to the year. 2 sort of close losses that we believe we should have won. But yeah, this one felt good today.
Lockie, you started the week with that bye week with a few headlines around you with your coach. Did you smooth it over all right? Was there any dramas inside the camp?
No, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. No, what happened happened. It is what it is. That's footy sometimes. But you move on pretty quick. And yeah, it is what it is. But we bounced back from it, and you showed that today.
You certainly showed that you moved on quickly, because today, would you say that was your best performance in a long time, just due to the fact that you had to come back from that long layoff?
Yeah, I think we just try to keep it simple today. Obviously it was they're a big attacking team, and I had to do a job on Sean Bloor and money, so I think our riders did that, so I just have to kick well and defend well, and no, I think I did that today, so I'm pretty happy with my performance.
Up to you, boys.
Lockie, Josh Reynolds here, mate. Tell Rico down there to be quiet. I got sprayed every single week from my coach, mate, so it happens in the halves, as we all know, mate. But I thought you were exceptional today. You took full control. Your kicking game was on. You played really nice and square into the line, but you yourself, mate, you're feeling comfortable in the role now. Everyone was, I suppose, wondering who was going to take control of this team, whether it was you or Flano. Yeah. But it seems like you've really stepped up, mate, and you seem to be really warming into that 7 jersey.
Yeah, thanks, Joshy. That's a challenge that I've sort of taken on board, and I came to this club, wanting to have that role and have that responsibility, and and I take those responsibilities for the losses as well. So it's that's my job as a 7, and I'm real happy to be here. So
Good on you, Locke. Go and enjoy it, mate. Congratulations and all the best with your new club. It's a great win today for St George Illawarra, 14 points to 8. For CPAP, we need to do our triple MVP. CPAP Direct. Get expert advice and unbeatable prices at CPAP Direct. Visit us in-store or cpap.com.au. What did you think, mate?
Yeah, so I'm going to start on the 1 point, and I'm going to say Jacob Little, come on, change the game. He peppered the Melbourne Storm middle, constantly asking questions, and he come up with a few defensive big plays, putting on pressure for Munster to come up with that drop ball. So 1 point for Lidsey. DeBellin, he was very, very solid for the Saints, a real workhorse, showed real intent in defence, and once again, he's one of their leaders, and he really, really stood up today, straighten up the Dragons' attack in the middle too, and he was exceptional. But for me today, the 3 points, boys, Valentine Holmes scored a try over 140 metres, but it was his effort areas. He was everywhere. He was scrambling. He was in the face of the Melbourne Storm defence, and it's the best game I've seen him play in a red V shirt, boys.
Okay, good on you, mate. Specsavers Audiology. Now, Specsavers Audiology, rediscover the joy of everyday sounds with a Specsavers hearing expert today. Here is the Specsavers Audiology play of the day.
Specsavers Audiology. Rediscover the joy of everyday sounds with a Specsavers hearing expert today.
The Triple M NRL play of the day.
Little's going to try and go on his own. He's there! He's there! Jacob Little scores right on the try line. St George Illawarra. He got it down right on the try line.
Bring on Jacob Little. He's been exceptional through the middle of this game, and what a game this has been.
Sydney's Triple M breakfast.
1 in 4 people have left the house wearing this by accident. Straight away you think, oh, classic, leather mask with a ball in your mouth. We've all done that. No? Is it a gimp? not a gimp mask.
Thanks to MJ the Musical. MJ the Musical is now thrilling audiences at Sydney's Lyric Theatre. Book today.
It's Triple M breakfast.
Weekdays from 6 on 104.9 Triple M.
Hurry in! Massive savings are waiting for you at Chemist Warehouse. Don't miss out on these unbelievable offers. There's Nature's Way Adult Vita Gummies Hair Skin Nails 180s, only $22.99. Help your muscles recover with Nutrilife Magnesium Glycinate 120 capsules, only $27.99. Nature's Own Super B Complex 150 tablets, only $28.99. And try LifeSpace Immune Support Probiotic Capsules, just $44.99. Chemist Warehouse. Great savings every day.
Right now, Sally's and Triple M are giving you the chance to win $10,000 cash. Jump on the win page at triplem.com.au. Tell us when or how Sally's has saved or could have saved the day on your job site, and you're in the running. If it's Sally's, it works.
With NRMA Insurance, you could enjoy our multi-policy discount when you take out 2 or more eligible policies. NRMA Insurance, a help company. Discount applies in tiers based on the number of eligible policies. Maximum tier reached at 9 eligible policies. Visit nrma.com.au/customer-discounts for more info. Discount may be subject to minimum premiums. Always read the PDS. PDS and TMDs available from NRMA Insurance at nrma.com.au.
Dan Murphy's March catalogue is out now. Autumn is here, and whatever you're sipping, enjoy low prices across our whole range this season. Hurry, offers end Wednesday, April 9. Choose to drink wise. Conditions apply.
Hey, you know I'm a big pet stock advocate, right?
Pet stock, the blue one, sure do.
Well, today I'm advocating for Advocate.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, there is a huge 40% off Advocate flea and worming treatment for cats and dogs right now at Pet Stock.
40% off? I'm advocating for that too.
Yeah, it's an amazing deal. Only at Petstock. I'm just saying.
Oh, don't you mean you're just advocating?
No, I'm just saying.
If you say so. No, I'm just saying the legal bit. T's and C's apply. Ends Monday.
At Officeworks, get the new Samsung Galaxy A56 for $697 and redeem a $100 Officeworks gift card. T's and C's apply. Offer ends 16th of April 2025. Make bigger things happen at Officeworks.
Okay, back in a sec. Thanks.
Where are you going?
Mum.
Mum?
Yeah, just catching up with Mum.
Where?
The shed.
Your mum?
Yeah.
In the shed?
Yeah, Mum's in the shed.
Your mum's not in the shed?
Yeah, sure she is. Aren't you, Mum? Yeah, hi, son.
Need an excuse to get into a Best Shed? Well, their 25% off sale is on now for a limited time. So hurry, get your Australian-made shed with 20 years manufacturer's warranty at bestsheds.com.au.
No shed like a Best Shed.
No boring stories.
How about that?
No blind shouting. No brainless spam.
Absolutely extraordinary!
Just the best sports coverage from Australia's biggest newsroom. Code Sports. No BS, just sport. Grab the app today.
Shut up! The foot is on Triple M!
Triple M rocks footy.
Thanks to the reliable Mitsubishi Triton, nothing can frighten a Triton.
And welcome back to what has been a very interesting and spirited win for the St George Illawarra Dragons. They've beaten Melbourne 14-8. Kept Melbourne pointless in the second half of this game. But, Grubby, we're just about done. What about we have a little bit of a look at the next couple of games, which are obviously the next one features the Cowboys taking on the Raiders. The Cowboys at home, the Raiders on a shortish turnaround. Who are you tipping here?
I'm going to go the Cowboys just because I think they need to win the game.
Yeah.
They really do.
Yeah.
They've got to be desperate. They're going to be at home. And as you said, it is tough on a short turnaround, especially to travel to North Queensland. And the Raiders got blown off the park by Manly the other day. So I think the Cowboys might get their first win of the season, Maroon.
Sharkies against the Dogs. Now, it's been well documented that your blokes are missing a couple of big names. Kickout, Burton. You know, we can't underplay the fact that they are not playing tonight against Cronulla in Cronulla.
It's going to be a tough ask tonight, but I will say the type of game it's going to be, it's going to be similar to the game we just seen. It's going to be a low-scoring game, and I think that suits the Bulldogs. You know, a defensive-minded game, and we can sort of bring the Sharkies down, you know, to our, I suppose, level of that defensive and tough game. But look, the Sharkies have got some exceptional players, the likes of Trindle, Fanua, Blake, so they're going to be tough to stop, but I wouldn't be riding off the Doggies.
I just want to be clear, Burton and Kickout are both due back at the same time, and is that round 7?
I'm pretty sure Gus come out and said,
he did,
about round 6 or 7, They'll be back very similar. And Carraz, I think he's about the same time as well. He's been a big loss for us. One of the best, guys coming out of trouble out of the backfield. So, look, it's been a great start for the Dogs, but probably the toughest task of the season tonight at Shark Park.
Jacob Carraz, of course, and my apologies for not mentioning him. He has been wonderful for you blokes over the last couple of seasons.
Oh, exceptional, Maroon. Just a very proud local junior. He's got a Lebanese background like yourself, but he loves it. He embraces it, and that's why, the people of Belmore absolutely love him, and I hope he stays at the Bulldogs for a very long time because he's a really, really good, tough player.
Well, I find you to be a little bit of a creep, but you're an exceptional broadcaster, so we'd like to have you back next week if you could, Graham.
I don't know why we always have to finish on that.
Yes.
But thank you.
That's my absolute pleasure. And we love you, Grubby. Always welcome at Triple M. You're part of the furniture here now anyway. St George Illawarra 14, Melbourne 8, Mitre 10 Trade. Get expert service trusted by the trade at your local Mitre 10 Trade Centre. Highlights as Triple M rocks the footy.
Shut up! The foot is on Triple M!
Triple M rocks footy. Full-time highlights.
Get expert service trusted by the trade at your local Mitre 10 Trade Centre.
Flanagan left to Gutherson, left to Holmes, and Val Holmes is going to score a lovely St George Illawarra try. Big Val, and the Dragons strike first, baby. Right it goes to Wishart, gets it away to Qatar, and then it goes to Ryan Pappenhausen, who slides over and scores a lovely try. Little's going to try and go on his own. He's there! He's there! Jacob Little scores right on the try line. St George Illawarra, they got it down right on the try victory for 2025 for St George Illawarra. Dragons 14 have beaten the Storm 8.